Good morning, everybody. It is, Wednesday, the 18th of August, and our last Wednesday show, because from next week on, we're only doing Fridays, but we are doing this Friday as well, so don't panic. And if you, I've worked it out, right? If you break up this coming Friday's show into half hours, then it can last you the whole week. You know how your parents give you like pathetic pocket money? My parents never gave me regular pocket money, so if I did get pocket money, they'd suddenly, I don't know if it was out of guilt or because the cupboards were bare at home and I had to buy something at the tuck shop, but they'd go, all right, here's $5. Make it last all week. It'd be like $5. It's going to last all week. What planet are you living on? Anyway, this morning, we've got some very, very cool people in the studio. I haven't seen the one guy for a little while now, and I love it when he comes in. And he said, and there are already questions in the comment section, he said, is James still in J-Bay? Yeah, he's still in J-Bay. Ben believes he's gone there to introduce his girlfriend to his parents.
Uh-oh.
So Ben thinks he's getting engaged. But Dave Levinson is here, and Dave was thrilled when he heard that James wasn't going to be here because he said everything will work, which is not too far from the truth. Right, Flex? Right, Getsy? Yeah. And we're joined by two massive heavyweights in South African comedy, because it's not only Dave Levinson, but the fantastic and brilliant Kurt Schoonraad. How are you, Kurt?
Oh, lekker. Thank you very much.
Good to see you, dude.
Thank you very much for having us. I must
what a
say,
pleasure.
it's a little early, though. Eh? Comedians really don't function at this time.
It's like when I used to do this show on radio, too. We'd have musicians come in.
Were you on radio too?
I was on radio. I've been in radio so long. It was the second radio ever made. Radio 2.
Yeah, let's start off seriously.
No. These musicians would come in, and they always used to either drink and party or do gigs late at night, like comedians, and they'd always be a fucking mess that next morning. The voice would be.
I know I'm getting old. I was invited back to. Keenan and I were invited to a party last night after the movie premiere. So it's one of those production house parties, but the movie ended at 11.
They still do
now
those.
Think about it. There would just be a couple of drinks and maybe a few hookers and some coke. Nothing big,
Nothing large.
But I said to Keenan, I got Gareth Cliff tomorrow at 5. We got to go to bed. Like in the old days, I'd be at that party. I'd come straight from that party to here in someone else's clothes.
Yes.
No, I needed my sleep.
Well, it was pretty much the same thing for me last night. I was invited to a very fancy schmancy hotel, which I won't mention any names, but I was meeting with a mate of mine called Michael Mittermeier, German comedian, German comedian.
Okay.
And he's in town for one night, so I got to meet with him, and it was great. But it was like, why don't you stay and have some more time, fun with us?
How much was your steak?
$800 or something.
Oh, wow. I'm trying to think which hotel that might be. Because
you know exactly which one it is. It's the Saxon.
That's expensive.
No, it was fantastic.
And he goes there,
but it's a beautiful hotel.
It's fabulous.
Listen, I was talking to a friend of mine who's opening up a coffee shop. He wants to... I said to him, first of all, you're insane, because that's such a competitive environment, right?
It is.
I mean, if you're in the hospitality business, you've got to be so fucking sharp. It's a horrible job. So I said to him, you're crazy. But second of all, there are places that are allowed to charge a fortune for a coffee or for a steak because they've got reputation. They've spent every bit of detailed attention looking at, the decor and the music, and the staff have been trained, and you kind of expect a top-tier experience there. So people don't mind shelling out money. It would burn me to pay, $500, $800?
$800.
Yes,
did you have
for
a
a steak.
bottle of wine?
But I'll tell you what, it must have been good.
No, it was fantastic. The whole thing was fantastic, start to finish. Everybody was, the staff was like exceptional. Back to the coffee thing. The profit margin on a cup of coffee is insane. It makes it's a really decent business model, I think.
Yeah. And you see them opening up everywhere now. I've seen a lot of these Platos. Obviously, there were a couple of Starbucks when they came to South Africa. Do you remember how excited people were?
Costa's here now.
Yeah, Costa. But remember, like South Africans, they saw it once in America, and they're like, oh my God, Starbucks is coming. It's like when Burger King or McDonald's first opened here. And then after a while, they're like, ugh, you want to go there?
No, South Africans are very brand drunk, we are. Yeah. So we see it in the movies, and it's been sponsored and picked up or product placed, or
Yep.
And when it shows up as a brand on our shows, we scheme it's the best thing on the planet.
You're right.
Until you figure out that it's actually quite cut and paste and cuck, actually.
And I mean, the people in the country that it comes from think it's cuck as well.
How many Starbucks does Cyril own?
No, he owns. He used to own McDonald's. I think he divested himself of all that stuff, so I'm not actually sure. No, I think he got out of McDonald's.
Did he say, "Don't put all your
still
eggs
be
in
involved.
one basket"?
I mean, he can't even hold on to his iPad, so I wouldn't be surprised if he lost a good investment like that too. But you were talking about coffee, and you're right. I mean, the price people will pay for a good cup of coffee. And remember, for most people, that's 5 days a week, eh?
Man, in Cape Town,
Yeah.
it's an art form. This
Oh, yeah.
producing the getting
Oh,
the
my
right barista in and making sure the coffees are high tier stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a reason it pops up all over wherever there's a lot of traffic. I mean, we go walking in the forest quite often, like 3-4 times a week.
What, you and you walk around in the forest? Who are you walking with?
No, listen.
Stick of the dump?
Okay, I walk,
so careful you tell us
I walk
anything.
straight into that one over there. No, it's,
walk around the forest?
I take my dog for a walk.
Like a bergie. You start-
Just the Bergie cruise in the morning. Hi, how you doing? You're right there. No, it's
What is this in like Newlands?
yeah, Newlands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
there's
nice.
2 coffee shops at the entrance of Newlands. 2.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, there's a lot of traffic, and I guess it's warranted. But if you consider that, at what, $25 to $30 a cup, and that costs you about $5 to make
It's water,
it.
man. It's flavored
Yeah.
water.
And that's everywhere in Cape Town. There are some big brands that have popped up.
Well,
coffee brands.
this kid started making beer once. You remember that?
I remember Dave Brew. I'll never forget
Remember
it.
that?
Yeah.
I've still got a bottle of it somewhere. I just kept it because I
Don't
so I
touch
can-
that. Drink it.
No, but it's a memento.
It's got a lot of my DNA in it.
Oh God,
That's way too much info now.
that is that's
Get a black
technically
light on that beer.
that's technically sexual assault. I mean,
But it's not, I distributed it very differently. I didn't do a Diddy or a Epstein.
no, but I thought it was cool that you were doing that. I mean,
No, that was a good business model as
Yeah.
well because I didn't make the beer. The guy made it for me.
yeah, right.
And I sold it at golf days
Yeah.
at a price. So, and then Cyril closed my shop down. I still got the Beetle.
Yeah.
I made it into the. I
saw in the
thought- I hope
parking
Ben
lot.
was here, so
Yeah.
he could start it because that man has no clue how classic cars work.
Ben.
Maybe he had to move it.
Listen, there's so few people who know anything about how cars work anymore because everything's electronic now, right?
So last night we saw rubber, but there's 3 of us in the Beetle, and we realized one of the guys at the back was too heavy, and the wheel was touching the arch, so he had to sit up like this in the car, make himself lighter.
Fuck. And people think comedians are only funny on stage. This is what goes on behind the scenes.
The truth is, funny shit happens to comedians, so we have something to talk about. Otherwise, it'll just be boring up there.
Okay, I want you to try and analyze this shit for me.
Oh, boy.
I had the weirdest dream last night. I dreamt I was taking a shit, but I was taking it in front of a whole lot of people.
Oh, well, there's
money.
method to that. Apparently,
That's money.
Deciphering your dreams, taking a shit in front of people, reckons there might be some financial issues there, my bro.
Good
So
or
I've heard.
bad?
Bad.
Oh, fuck.
Is it bad? So losing teeth is good money.
Really?
Yeah.
For dreams.
Taking
Not
a
in real
shit's
life.
not.
No, so it was very.
Did you
odd.
know the people or the randoms?
It was randoms. It was. I didn't recognize
No.
any faces, but I
What happens
remember.
is you
so
often say, "I don't give a shit about what people think." You literally are the opposite. You gave a shit
in my
front
dream,
of people.
in my dream, I gave a shit. It was weird though because it was sort of like a European. They had these. It wasn't like I was sitting on a toilet on a stage in front of people. There was like a screen, but everybody was taking shits in public.
The slow lounge has got
this-
a blue with a view.
Yeah, they do.
Everybody having a shit in public. I think that's just like the economy going sideways.
Yeah,
It's a collective
that's
shit.
probably
really.
all of
Now
us.
we wait for the comments. Just sit and wait.
Yeah, all right. So let's get to it. Bitcoin Bot says Seattle is cuck. He's talking about coffee now.
Not the country.
Steven
That's
says
the place.
Steven says they charge you a fortune for coffee and then they give you a stick to stir it. That's about right.
That stick thing has got me. That the wooden the tongue depressors.
Yeah, why
They
does
must be using 8 trillion of those things, and the trees are dying.
Sure. Give me plastic, man.
Plastic.
I mean,
talking about tongue depressors and complete waste of one-time only plastic use. I was at the local pharmacy the other day, and I bought some Sinutab, and they put it in a cage for me.
Oh, yeah.
And then gooed a cable tie on it. I literally walked about 5 and a packet wrapped in a packet tight. Like
What is going to happen? I need to understand that. What's going to happen between when the dispensary gives you the thing in the cage
what are they?
and the till? What I mean, are there tsotsies in the shop who are going to fucking stop you on the way and change your medication? Or
So I literally walk about 5 meters over to the checkout place, the checkout counter, and the goose takes out a little pliers and she cuts the cable tie. I'm like, that was a complete waste of cable tie.
correct.
You don't feel manly at all carrying that cage.
So bad.
Because there's no
Like a
way to
little
carry it.
wire purse.
You put it under your arm, you look weird. You carry it and you walk like this with your little cage. And then if someone does try to sniff your drugs, they can sniff through the cage.
Yeah.
Well, I think what they're trying to do there is to make sure you're not putting any cuck else that shouldn't be in the cage.
But what are you going to put in? Because all the other stuff's
chemist.
on the shelves. You can't get into the dispensary anyway.
I reckon they just reckon there's a problem with pilferage on shelves between the pharmacy and the checkout counter.
So you mean like you could take something and put it in the bag?
In the bag. I think that's what they're afraid of. They clearly have an issue with the pilferage thing.
I mean, it wasn't so long ago you'd go to the chemist and they'd just give you the box with the pills in.
Yeah.
And you'd put it with the rest of your shit in your trolley or in your fucking basket.
When you go to one of those mom and pop shops, there are chemists like that in South Africa where you can. It's just family run type of stuff.
You're like, hey, can I have a recurring thing on those sinus pills?
Exactly. You can even wink a little bit.
Yeah, and the lady's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Kurt, how are you? Haven't seen you here in a while.
How's Dave? Does he need Viagra?
Are your stools more firm lately?
So the loo of the view at the Slow Lounge has got this one-way glass, and you can really take a dump while watching planes leave late.
I don't like public bathrooms, which again makes the stream of mine pretty weird because I never shit in public.
It's got to be
in this
something.
one,
I don't
was
think
doing it in
dreams
front of people.
matter.
Yeah, and I woke up this morning thinking, like, what does that mean symbolically?
Can I tell you the other dream that you must never have?
What?
Is the dream that you're having a wee? Because you are.
That's
God's little joke.
It's warm for a little bit.
Says,
and also having a poo in public is that you got to do it with your foot out like that all the time for the door.
and you got to hover.
The funny thing is, it took me a long time in the dream. I was like, I just can't get this job done.
That's good. That's something. There's a blockage in your chakra.
A little more fiber, I'd highly recommend.
I'm just relieved I didn't wake up having shat the bed like Johnny Depp's chick. Remember her?
Amber, yeah.
Carl de Santos says, I've had that public shit dream before. In mine, I was the only one. Do not wear white pants for a few days. Okay. I thought the other guy was late Friends actor Matthew Perry. Well, you mean someone thinks you look like Matthew Perry?
I'll take it. You know,
That's not bad. That's
I've done
that's
some
all right.
things I'm not proud of in a jacuzzi.
Yeah, didn't they find him on his own?
Yeah, they did apparently.
on my
I've
own when I've
never
done those things.
been in a jacuzzi on my own.
That's true, eh? That's actually very true.
It
seems too indulgent.
Yeah, but who would do like? What would be the occasion? Like, just
The
signed
bubbles.
a massive deal. I'm in the money. I'm going to have a jacuzzi on my own with a glass of champagne and some antidepressants.
Well, he was at home in a jacuzzi, which means that there was a higher chance of him spending time in the jacuzzi on his own. I mean, listen. Yeah.
No, I think a hooker was there. I think a hooker was there, and she
Left.
Yeah, they were
They
both.
do that, eh?
She just ninja bombed after like,
Yeah, no, well,
Matthew,
maybe
can you
he-
wake up, bro?
Like, you know,
None of mine will ever stay and just read a book with me, even if it's a
all you want
pop-up
is
book.
a bit of affection.
I just and they're like, "Oh, do you want to cuddle?" I'm like, "No, let's read a book."
You should say, well, I mean, if you pay them a little extra, they'll give you
Johnny?
reading a book.
John and Mary went to school.
There's way too
You know,
much
you-
experience in this room.
What did
I'm
you say
just
last
taking
night?
notes.
It's like something that's totally superfluous. It's like dating a porn star and then going back to wanking.
Yeah.
So I started to smoke again after like 10 years.
You start smoking
I
during
started
COVID.
smoking during COVID because I'm having a really cuck time and I'm
Yeah.
double clutching. Yeah. So I start smoking again and he goes, yeah, it's like literally, it's like $250 a box. It's like dating a porn star and then going back to masturbating. You know, it's horrible.
Just to spite it.
Just-
All right, now hang on. I do know that there's actually, so we have to do some business here because otherwise we're going to forget about this. You're doing a whole thing at Monte Casino
Indeed.
that we need to hear about. So if you don't know already, 6 to 17 August, that's now. It's already on.
Yep.
In fact, you've only got a couple of days left. So let's do this. Kurt's going to be there with a new one-man show, which is called Funny Side Up, and it's at Monte Casino. He's been in Cape Town recently. He's done 70-minute performance blends. This is what the people write about you, right?
I check you reading the press release.
Relatable stories. I love the way when they say this stuff. It just somehow they make it unfunny. Eh?
Geez, that makes me want to buy a ticket for that thing, eh?
Already,
The show next door.
relatable stories and a 70-minute. People are going fucking 70 minutes.
I would go watch a show.
It's a
having
long time without a.
Without a
He
break.
brings a hooker on stage and she reads a story.
Dave,
It's very
Dave,
relatable.
Do you know how funny that would be? Though?
I'm doing it.
Please
My idea.
do me a favor. That is such a great idea. Just hire,
Vagina monologues.
and then the next week, a prisoner, and you just read them. I mean, you reading a story to a hooker on a
I
stage.
read her the story.
No, she's reading him a story.
Oh, it's help me
No,
sleep.
she can't read.
He, they.
She can't read, so
don't
you've
know
got to
what I
read
like.
her a story, and then she must just sit there and try not to look at her phone. I promise you, people will come.
He's
Dave
got a
Levinson
show.
and a hooker on
And
stage.
special guests.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be so funny. You get a drug addict, but obviously ones that
Let's
you
do
don't.
it.
You know, you can chain them to the stage if necessary if they're a bit psycho.
So you stopping the shows now? You're doing it Friday only.
Only Friday.
Can I do that? Can I do that
before
reading
we
the
get
hooker
to-
story on Wednesdays?
You could. I mean, that would be. I think people would come, but not for. It can't be a recorded thing that you watch on a screen. You need to go to.
Yes.
I mean, Dave plus a hooker on stage and bedtime stories or nursery rhymes. I mean, you could have some fun.
And a
man.
poll just in case the story doesn't work out. And not for the stripper, that's for Dave. Yeah.
You want a Polish guy there?
Okay, but we're talking about a lot of shows here. So
Okay,
this
sorry.
is
He's
that's
got a show
Dave's new
during
show.
the rugby.
But-
he's doing a show on Saturday at 5:00.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm brave that way.
And he's not cancelling, he's doing it.
I'm
But
doing it.
They're
I
going to be
sold
people.
tickets. Yeah, people
they're
are
gonna
coming.
be people
Dave.
because there's some people who don't give a shit about rugby, like me.
Enough of them to buy tickets. So there's no turning back there. I'm doing the show.
The director won't be there.
He'll
No,
be
I
watching
mean,
the rugby.
But who was I talking to about this just the other day? I remember when I used to go and DJ at clubs, and you guys can relate to this it's not the same, but it's similar. Like there were occasions where you'd pitch up and it would be a sellout crowd and it would be a fantastic vibe and everything would be awesome and you walk in there feeling like a rock star. And then sometimes you thought it was going to be fine and you pitched up and there were 12 people, crickets. You're like, what? I remember I went to a thing in Pretoria. I mean, I just started doing this and DJing was stupid. I'm the first to admit it. What you guys do is really hard and it takes a lot of talent. But when you arrive at a club and you have to now you have to play music. I mean, it's so stupid. You're playing other people's music because I didn't produce my own music. And then you play the right selection of music and then they drink and dance, which they were going to do anyway. And I remember people saying, you know, we've come specially to meet you. And I thought, yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm getting paid anyway, so I'm up for it. But I remember pitching at some of these things and there would be such a small crowd.
So what do you do?
No, I mean,
What's
in
your
the
plan?
beginning, it bugs you.
Yeah.
And you think, I'm a failure. Nobody gives a shit for what I do. I should find some other career. Maybe I should take up that course in plumbing I've always thought about. But after about 3 of those, you're pretty bulletproof. And then obviously, as you forget that you should be feeling bad about this and you become accustomed to the fact that whatever happens, happens, because things like rugby
They
are
do.
scheduled at the same time, then you go,
Unavoidable.
this is going to be fine. And the moment you break through that wall of giving a damn, then suddenly it's fun.
There are exceptions to that rule, though. I used to do this gig at the small theatre in Cape Town, where you would do the comedy after the rugby, which is very risky because it could go either way, right? Either it would be one mood of a fantastic crowd that were celebrating a win, or it would be completely sideways because we just lost and I've got to do the comedy. It's like doing comedy at a wake. It's a cack idea. You know? And so you got to take the good with the bad, I guess. And listen, there's two kinds of comics. The world says there's two kinds of comics: those who have died and those who will die.
Yeah.
It's just part of the game. It comes with the territory.
No, but when you see like 10 people, you're like, well, it's going to be a nice intimate evening just for the 10 of us.
Small but enthusiastic, like my goose says. Come closer, people, closer to the front.
He's actually has moved. You've moved people before.
Oh yes, I have.
You have?
Now the problem is sometimes you've got like 12 couples sitting in 150 seaters, so that's like they're all scattered. So you go, no, come closer. And
But people are also scared because of the way that some hecklers get taken to pieces.
Yeah.
And some oaks are brave enough to say something, but from a distance.
Yeah.
They don't want to sit in front of you.
It all depends where you're playing as well, because there's like a heckling culture in the UK, for example. Then as the comedian, it's open season on you, bro.
Yeah.
And that's mean and angry, Cape South African hecklers are quite cool. They're very except for the one that Dave had the other day.
What happened?
Did I have a heckler?
If you had a heckler the other day, what was
He doesn't even remember.
See, like 3 seconds into his set, they went, so when's the comedian coming on? I think he's lost his shit.
So what did you do? Climb into him?
Lost my shit.
Did you?
Because I was the host. So as the host, I just want to get them quiet so the comedian comes onto what I call a clean floor.
Sure.
Get them maybe laughing, but also just get them quiet, get them in. So I said, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're starting the comedy in about 5 minutes. And someone in the front, and I overheard him. He goes, you call this comedy? And I was like, hold on a second, because no one heard him. And that's the worst thing.
So what did you say?
So I said, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. This guy just said, where's the comedian? What is call this comedy?
Yeah.
First of all, it's a free show. And I said, I'm wearing these special steel-toed boots so I can kick you in your poos. and he had like a weird pedophile moustache, and his son was with him. He was taken up by everybody. And then after the show, I said, so how was the comedy for you there, sir, Kevin? And he never
how
left.
can
He enjoyed
anyone
it.
still have a pedophile moustache in 2025?
I just called it that. I don't think, I
Probably
think
did.
pedophiles have
Some
moved on
people
now.
wear it with a sense of irony, Especially those hippies in Cape Town. Sorry, those what are they called?
Hipsters.
Hipsters. Sorry,
Yeah.
in and there are lots of them in Cape Town. Bell bottoms, midriff t-shirts.
How do you cope with that? Because I love visiting Cape Town, right? And it is a magnificent place, and there's lots to. The rest of the world can say all the nice things they need to say about Cape Town, but it's not a serious place, and there are a lot of people. I don't know what they do for a living. They seem to have
Remote
enough to
workers.
live,
Man,
but I don't know what they do.
you
They don't
ask these questions at like 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning in the forest, and it's chock-a-block, it's packed. You're
What
like,
do they do?
What do you oaks do for a living?
Right. I mean, it's appropriate if a comedian can wake up early. That's an off time for a comedian. There's no comedian working at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, unless he's doing some corporate function for old ladies or something. But
Is there one? Have you got one?
you want one? I'll send it
An
your
old
way.
lady
yeah.
or a
I'll do
corporate
that.
function. We're not sure which one.
I'll do golf days.
He wants both.
I did an old age home comedy night.
Really? How did that go?
It was actually quite lucky because what I did was what you said. You calm them down and say, listen, we're going to do this.
You had to calm
Get
them
it?
down.
Yeah, they were excited.
And they also took poos in public.
They were dumping in while they were sitting there. At least with an old person, you can see if they're pissing themselves laughing because the colostomy bag fills up.
Shit.
But that was a nice night. And I came on stage to that song by 9 Inch Nails.
I wanna fuck you like an animal.
But it's a rocking song.
Wow.
If you don't listen to the words, they
and
can't
did you
hear
have
the
the
words.
Went through
whole?
the chair there.
No, they were rocking.
Have
It's a
the
lucky
old
song.
people,
This
they
song's
liked
got a
it, eh?
nice beat, hey, Muriel. And she goes, it's, I think he's saying, I want to fuck you like an animal. He goes, well, I can't, the pills, I don't have any pills. It's a nice song. Great. It's a great
I think we found the level now.
No,
This
man,
is
no.
lekker,
Wait, tell me
which
about
is-
your show, Kurt. Where is
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Why is it?
Come, let's try and stay
Oh, wait,
focused
sorry.
for at
I'm
least
the
a
director
second.
of
here.
the show.
He's
Yeah,
the-
right.
What was
okay.
cool is that he directed it from Joburg and I was in Cape Town, so we weren't even in the same city, which is fabulous.
Why would you entrust such important things to Levinson?
So this is how
Like Katy Perry or
this
Mark
is how it works. You got to trust the oak sense of funny that's working with you, because when you're doing the stage stuff yourself, you're too close to the picture, so you don't really know if it's quite cuck actually. So you need someone else to go. Oh no, that's quite cuck. Maybe you should try it the other way around.
Listen, I'm sure Dave is honest. He'll give you that.
If anything,
He'll give you that. But yes, I mean, he's the director of the show. What does that involve, Dave?
We were in.
What does it mean to be a director?
He's got a swimming pool the size of this table. So me and Matthew Perry and Kurt, obviously. And he said, Dave, I need to do something that I can do and travel and do things. And we sat in the pool. We had another drink and another drink and another margarita.
It must have been in summer.
It was hot as well.
It was hot. And then eventually we came up with the name of the show. We thought about 10 theatres to go to.
Right.
So that's in a pool. So comedians, I mean, where are you going to have a meeting?
So did you come up with the fantastic,
the name,
groundbreaking, funny side?
I was under the water, so he's talking, and I'm not even listening. And I come up like this, and he goes, "What's the name of the show?" And I'm like, "It's called Funny Side Up." and then I went back under the water.
Were you drunk?
And
were you drunk?
Yeah,
we went as far as actually trying to create a storyline around Funny Side Up, and we figured out that you can have a positive spin on really cuck things.
Yes.
And it stuck. A fantastic
but
message.
Kurt, that actually is genius. Because South Africans, the way you explained it now, makes perfect sense. South Africans find a way. Look, our country's run by the fucking worst people. And our economy is in the toilet, like what I was doing in front of people in my dream. It's not, there's no kind of immediate savior on the horizon, but South Africans still have the best sense of humor.
Hey, we cope,
On a serious
we do
side,
stuff. Yeah.
I've known him for 25 years. We did Going Nowhere Slowly together. We've done, the drive to the gig and the drive home from the gig as comedians. That's where the funny is, strangely enough.
I'm sure you guys
And
laugh.
so many stories. When you talk about honesty, I heard him do stories for 25 years. And I sat in the car and I said, Kurt, if I hear that stupid flippant story about the cop on the motorbike again, I'm going to hit you. So that's kind of pushed him to do new material. And this is, when he's on stage now, he's actually doing the stories that I've heard in the car.
So now we're in the pool, and I'm telling him about how I almost killed my dad. Right? So he's like, "Why isn't that fucking story on stage?" I said, "But that's real. That's personal. It's not a written piece at all." So he goes, "No. Put that shit on stage."
What happened with your dad? Now you got to tell us.
You know what he does? He tells the story differently than when he does his comedy. So a comedy, you've written a setup and a punchline, and you're waiting for the timing. But when he does his story, he almost changes. His whole face changes. So I said, that's what I want to see on stage. So I kind of made myself the director. I didn't want to be.
I can hear this. Like you actually you're taking charge here. This is most unlike you.
He volunteered, just like that.
All right.
Yeah.
But what happened with your dad?
He was fixing the garage door, and he asked the ADHD kid to hold up the door. And I went, "Oh, look, a squirrel." And the door slipped out of my hand. Listen, it's a big, lekker long story.
Was it one of those metal ones that rolls up?
No, what it was, it's one of those flippy ones with the 4 springs on the side.
Oh,
right? So what he was doing was replacing one of the springs, and it was one of those. He was like a centimeter away. And
oh, my God. Yes.
But then he talks about so many things that are personal, and you can watch the audience leaning forward, because there's not going to be a comedy like you. There's a setup, and I'm going to be the butt of the joke. He talks about his dad dying.
Oh.
He talks about some of the stuff in his family with mental issues and things that have happened.
Oh.
So it starts becoming, oh, hang on, these comedians aren't all freaks. He's actually got some substance. And
well, you know how many times I've said, and the audience are totally on board with this now, whenever they see comedians on, with the exception of you, actually, for some reason, because you've been here a number of times, so they know you from when you had your own show as well. But when I've usually had comedians in, they start going through their sad stories.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, I mean, these are very sad people.
There's a very thin line between like comedy and tragedy. It's a very thin
Kurt
line.
lost an entire business, a whole comedy club during COVID. But that's the saddest.
A lot of you guys, people don't understand how bad that COVID thing was for comedy.
Huge.
For entertainment, in fact. We were talking earlier before we started the show about how there are 2 new groups of people in entertainment, right? And that probably goes for comedy as much as it does for TV, radio, podcasts, whatever. I had a meeting the other day with someone who's got a big name in the entertainment business. and we're going to do a show with him. And he says to me, "Oh well, it's gonna. I need this. This is the kind of money I need to make this worthwhile." And I started laughing because I thought, "Good luck to you." I don't know if you've noticed, but they've just cancelled Colbert. The View has gone on an indefinite break. That's Whoopi Goldberg's too expensive. Howard Stern is being fired by Sirius because he's too expensive. Like those big names in media are falling away.
But I think there's more to it than just them overpricing themselves. There's a whole political movement against people that are sharing opinions in that public space that is against whoever's running that particular spot,
Yeah.
So the last thing you want in that orange regime over there is people that speak a whole lot of sense to other people. It just creates all kinds of shit for them, I guess.
The funny thing is that I saw Greg Gutfeld, who's a Fox News guy, so he's very much on the Trump side of things. He went on Jimmy Fallon's show the other day, and they had record numbers. Now, Fallon needs an injection in his ratings because his ratings are cuck. So he got Greg Gutfeld on. Apparently it was very good. I mean, there was outrage. When people report there's outrage, there's never outrage. I mean, it means like they've gone and they've screenshotted 5 angry tweets from people who are either a bot or they're unstable anyway. And then they go, outrage as. I mean, the number of headlines about me I've read over the years are, Gareth Cliff sparks outrage, and then I go and I look for the outrage, and I can't
In
find
Roman
it.
times, outrage was you were actually drawn and caught, you died.
Yeah, I mean, in Roman times, they would
Stab
grab you in the market and stab you.
No, that was
They
outrage.
say that an average vagina has about 2.5 million nerves in it, but it's not half as sensitive as a middle-aged man with a keyboard.
That's right. But the point I was going to make about Gutfeld on Fallon is that he went on there, and because all these late-night guys who used to be, I mean, Fallon's obviously a supremely talented guy. I don't doubt that for a second. So's Colbert. I don't agree with their politics, but what they've done is they've just completely shut out half of the American audience they could have because they're so on the left, just like you've got people who've always been on the right, that they're just saying no to kind of common sense stuff in broadcasting. You want as many people watching, as many people
So the
listening
right
as
guys,
possible.
right wingers, were saying they preferred Johnny Carson's approach.
Well,
which
Johnny
was a
Carson
totally partisan.
never
middle
never
line.
political, right?
Never.
I mean, even Jay Leno, he walked a very fine line, and Jay Leno, I think, had the highest ratings for late night TV in American
But
history.
he would break you down. As soon as you went political, he would make a completely...
Comment. I want to talk about cards. Can we talk about cards for a little bit? So he'd change it completely. Your chin would come out. And
So people are missing that.
Exactly.
It's moderate, isn't it? They're missing that. Just a guy with a no opinion.
Well, how do you guys
Switzerland.
feel about that in comedy? Because we've got, right now, I mean, it's never been more fashionable to tear the ANC to shit now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
But then
wrote
you'd be
that.
doing exactly that on stage. You'd be,
I
what
wrote
if you're
that
50% of the
letter.
audience
I
are
wrote
not?
that letter to the president when Zuma was president in 2010, and it got me like pilloried in the media. They were, "Oh, who does this white oak think he is?" Right? I mean, anyone in the country could write a letter to the president. So at the time, I didn't think this is going to be controversial at all, and I was the only person who was criticizing the ANC because everyone else is kissing their asses, right? And then suddenly, couple of years later,
It's cool again.
15 years later, now it's super cool.
But wouldn't you be splitting if I was on stage and Kurt doesn't do political? And one of the things we did when we wrote the show was it's so easy to
Yeah.
go, isn't that guy a fool? And then he said, I'll be the fool.
Right.
I'll take the brunt.
Right.
So the whole audience.
You steer clear of it.
yeah.
But and so this is in this show, Funny Side Up. It's the first time I've tackled a political thing, and I think it's important. We have to criticize and ask the question.
Sure.
And sometimes I don't make any big statements. We just ask the question. It's like the situation with the South African Air Force, for example. I mean, that's
How many planes do we have?
we got 3 now. We used to have 4 about 3 months ago. We got 3 now. We got 1 cargo plane, right?
And the one can't go.
We've got a training plane, a training jet. I don't know what they're training for because there's no kind of future past that point, right? And then one dodgy like Honda VTEC helicopter, you know. And I discuss it quite in depth in the show, but it's and then about a year ago I was invited to the opening of Parliament in Cape Town with I was a plus one. A mate of mine.
You didn't write any legislation.
No, I didn't put forward anything.
Good. While I'm here, let me pen some legislation.
Well, this is an interesting story though, because a friend of mine who is a lobbyist for equal access. She's in a wheelchair. Okay. She went, come along, let's go.
She needed you to push her. Let's
of course. No, that is a true story. So Taryn and myself headed out to the opening of Parliament.
Sure, I'll go to that.
Man, firstly, we couldn't get into the space at all. It was
from observatory.
We literally parked in Vredehoek and I had to push it down. And I thought, I can't.
Because of the parade and everything.
Well, it was all controlled by South African Defence Force, and they had no idea what to do with us. We had all the accreditation and the lanyards and all of the special
because
zappy
they
stuff.
don't know what to do.
They don't know what to do with a wheelchair. So I'm like, bro, I don't come here with the wheelchair to like bomb the place. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Yeah, but you can't even joke about that.
No, of course not.
Because they have no sense of humor.
So that you and me, so we go around for a while trying to find an entrance to this place because I can't push it too far. No. Eventually, some senior traffic officer comes over and goes, "What's going on here?" I explained the situation to him. He goes, "Okay, why don't you park out back? I'll give you a place in the VIP parking area." I almost fell off my chair, bro.
Oh. She almost fell off her wheelchair.
I have not seen so many luxury SUVs in my life.
What is it with? Because I don't think a lot of these people had cars like that before they went into politics.
No. I also can't see why, serving the public requires you to go from 0 to 100 in under 8 seconds.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like, my first car was a fucking Chico. Remember those Chico Golfs?
Hey, snap, bro.
Yeah, remember those?
I was an Opel Cadet Cub, man.
Opel Cadet Cub.
I paid for that car. I looked through some old
How
stuff.
much?
And I was in the army, and I came out of the army, and I had a job as a barista coffee guy.
Oh,
I bought a car. Think about that as a middle class.
How much was it?
So it would have been about 17,000 rand.
Yes, that's for a car. I reckon they're probably
it was the 1.6
Gen Z's listening to us now going,
GLS, eh?
Holy shit, that's the cost for a car?
Yeah, it's the cost of a service on a car now.
Do you know how bad my ADHD is?
How bad?
I'm playing Tetris with your jersey.
With your waffle jersey.
You're talking serious shit about the government. I'm going, I could get that block there.
I could drop 3 layers later.
I'm winning.
All right, so because we're going all over the place here.
Sorry.
So you are not going to go heavily political, which is a relief, actually, because I think people have had enough of it too. And as Dave says, it's easy, right?
Yeah.
It's too easy. It's like you want to craft comedy that's smart so people by the end of it go, holy shit, that not only was that hilarious and I've laughed a lot, but fucking clever too.
It needs to be clever, and here's the thing that we don't do too often as comedians. It's got to be honest. It's got to share a real piece of your soul.
You guys are honest. That's what you do.
So something with directing a friend of yours is quite interesting, because if you think about it in a work situation, you often get asked your opinion in work, and you must never give your opinion at work because they're going to hate you for it. But when you've known someone for 25 years, I literally have to stop him, say, hide the punchline. Because he's so excited to do the joke. I'm like, no, hide that away. You're now on stage. They must never know where you're going. So as long as they're sitting there going, I didn't expect that. Wow, I didn't expect that. So the whole time, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. Now, after an hour, they walk out there with a completely new feeling about how they are about their stuff.
So the best compliment I got on the night, on media night last Wednesday, was some lady came up to me after the show, because, we do the drinks and the chat and a couple of pictures after the show. And she said, that was the weirdest experience, because at one moment you brought me close to tears telling us about your dad and what he meant to you and that he's gone. And then 10 seconds later, I'm screaming with laughter. So it's a lekker roller coaster. That's a huge compliment.
That's very cool.
And then he signed her boob and she went home.
Now listen, do you, Dave Levinson, do you find it is easier to say the things and direct and be able to advise almost?
I wouldn't direct another comedian.
No, but but do you do this for yourself? Is it the same process?
It's the strangest thing. So I've written a show now, and this is what we spoke about. You said, Dave, why aren't you doing what you're telling me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have written a show, but it's so scary. Because what you don't want on stage is, as a comedian, you want that dead air freaks you out. But it's actually the best thing when you watch actors. They go, I didn't know that. And then there's that silence.
So
We're so scared of it.
there's a big difference between club comedy, which is machine gun fire. Ta, 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 ta. You got 10, 15 minutes up there. That's all you have.
It's war.
It's exactly. It's battle. Whereas,
Especially if Kevin's there with his moustache.
whereas a theatre show, for example, you can meander and have the silent moments without the panic, you know. And it feels different, and you are allowed to tell the story and get a little more personal and pull up a chair, and so you can't do that in a club. Whereas this kind of space you can, and I think
that's cool.
you interact with the audience in a completely different way, really.
Yeah, I've always had, and Dave knows this too, I've had the greatest respect for the fact that you guys can go out there. And as you said a second ago, it could go anywhere. This could go anywhere. And the audience kind of trusts you when they walk in there. There's sort of a tacit agreement. You're going to make me laugh. I'm going to feel better when I walk out than when I walked in. But at the same time, everybody knows there's massive risk it could just fall flat, right?
You spoke about it a long time ago, is getting a thick skin. So
Yeah.
when you did the DJ stuff and there were 12 people, the next time you appreciated the 1,000 people way more.
Yeah.
And you got such a thick skin knowing, hang on a minute, I'm going to make these 12 people never forget this.
And by way of example, because I've never become jaded about that, I got an email on Monday from someone called Robin who listens to the show. And she said in this email, I'm going to have to get used to this one show a week thing. Because it's not, it's part of people's lives. And I get that. I never overestimate my own influence on other people's lives because I think, some days they might just decide, screw that guy. I'm not interested in what he has to say anymore. And many people probably have fallen by the wayside. But she wrote this beautiful email to me about how it's become like a part of her, it's one of her habits. One of her things. She switches on the show in the morning, listens to it on the way into work, drops her daughter at school. Yeah. And I thought, you know what? I appreciate it. I'm still blown away by the fact that we can connect to people either through comedy in your case or through doing what we do on this show. And that to me is, you must never get blasé about that.
Well, it's a privilege.
Yeah, huge.
It's a huge privilege to be able to speak your mind because most of us don't. We sheep and we follow, especially if you're employed in an organization where you're expected to comply and roll along with it. So to be able to go up there, share an opinion that's not everybody's, sometimes there's always going to be a certain amount of crit for the way you approach it or even your thoughts or your ideas, but it is certainly a privilege to be able to share that with an audience, really.
So Kurt's biggest fear was relevance as a 50-year-old white male, as a 50-year-old colored male.
I was like, where's the white Kurt, bro?
You're like
somewhere in your family. Somewhere on van Riebeck. But relevance is such a big thing. And I said to him, there's nothing better than integrity and honesty because then relevance doesn't matter.
Yep.
Because the story is yours.
Isn't it amazing that, and I hate to bring up someone who's not been around for this long, but, these Gen Z kids are now discovering George Carlin.
Yeah.
Like 25 years or something after he died.
And how honest was he?
I mean, superb, right? That stuff's ageless.
That's the gold class of
sure.
comedy.
That was my introduction to comedy. I was in standard 6, and a friend of mine's mom came back from overseas with a tape. And on one side was George Carlin, and the other side was Richard Pryor. That's my introduction to comedy.
That's arguably two of the most influential comedians in history, really.
I would say those two guys were almost undoubtedly my favorite comedians. I remember Richard Pryor, like before he did the movie roles and all that stuff, he was edgy as hell.
So just how edgy he was he set himself alight by accident.
Yeah.
And then
well, he tried to kill that one girlfriend as well because she stole his car. And it was what a mess.
What a beautiful mess.
Yeah.
Why do funny things happen to comedians? And it's weird. I said, Kurt, when you tell the story, you can do the same thing that Gareth did today. When you tell it, must be funny.
Yep.
So that's the key. And that's a gift maybe.
But that is the gift, because I've heard people tell the most amazing stories, but they cuck at telling stories.
Yeah.
So they don't build up to anything.
So there's
they go, yeah, the garage door almost killed my dad. I was standing there, and then the garage door just about fell on him.
So there's storytelling is an art form. It's there are layers to it.
Yeah.
For the average audience member, they'll think of it as one thing. But there is a whole lot in storytelling. There's the non-verbal thing. There's the body language. It's the gesticulative value of playing this out,
sure.
describing the characters, and then sometimes it is just it's what's not said. Just like good jazz, it's the great pause in the center that makes the song work. Great comedy works the same way. We've watched George Carlin do it. We've watched Richard Pryor do it. Eddie Murphy do it. That fantastic pregnant pause in the right place is a punchline on its own.
Carl DeSantis says, the irony that these politicians do not demonstrate the sense of urgency anywhere but in their cars. To your point
True
earlier.
story.
With the blue light.
The blue light brigade.
Vyasan wants to know from both of you, was there a time when you guys did a show and the laughter was at an all-time low?
Yeah, all
Like
the,
You know what it is? It's
There
not.
are
I wouldn't
people
do
who-
jokes just for laughing. What I want is someone to be surprised, and I want them to go, I didn't think of it like that. So there's no laugh in that. You get clappy audiences. And also, he had a show the other night where they were dead silent. And he actually asked the lady to put the lights on to see if anyone was there.
check if they're there.
So he starts panicking. And I'm like, no, wait, hang on. There's a laughy audience. There's a clappy audience. And then there's an audience that going, this was not what I was expecting.
They're awestruck.
And then
So next door
after
is-
the show,
They came in and they said, what a brilliant show.
Yeah.
I was confused for a second. I was like,
But you do get people who have decided they're not going to
But how did the collective consciousness of that audience just going, but they were all shocked because they thought, comedian. So next door is Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yeah.
Theatre.
I would-
Theatre.
Do you know how much?
Actor.
Do you know how much I
Gareth.
would hate that?
Theatre.
Do you know how much I would hate that?
So next door is Kurt, and his poster's like his face like this, and it says funny side up, and they're like, oh, fuck, what's this? Because obviously they couldn't get tickets to Joseph.
Oh, so it's the gamblers.
man,
Okay.
No, I said
I'll get them in whichever way.
I said to Kurt, next door is Joseph from the Technicolor Dreamcoat, and the other side is Kurt, which technically coloured.
A Technicolored dreamboat.
So I watch these people with their tickets like, oh, fuck, okay. And the unexpected is where they don't laugh because they come out going, that was just so cool. In fact, go and see it again and then
Yeah,
they'll
but
see
I
the
think
funny.
that what Vyasan's asking about here is like those
has
people.
happened.
No, but those you get those grumpy bastards have either been brought by their wife or, you know, she's like, we've got to go and do something because I can't look at you in the house anymore and I'm sick of arguing with you in private.
But I can tell an audience from the phone call I get from the organizer.
Really?
I can tell if it's going to, and he'll tell you the same story. What is there? Is there a spotlight? Where am I standing? Who's coming? And then you're like, shit.
Free gigs. I don't do them.
Free ones.
Free ones.
Yeah.
No. Free one, there's no investment from the
Yeah.
audience side. And it's not about the bucks. It's an investment. It's a token of their investment in
Sure.
their time and their energy they're coming to a comedy show. So what happens is a lot of the time these gigs, they have these free gigs. So all of a sudden there's these 5 friends that haven't seen each other for 10 years. They want to catch up and there's a comedy show happening in the corner. There's no investment on their side. Halfway through the show, they're like, can you shut the fuck up? You're trying to catch up here.
I'm trying to break up
It's like, I'm sorry, we built a comedy club around your table there, Scormel Deluxe, but
Are you angry now, Kurt?
did you
Show
notice
some
that?
emotion. What I want as a director.
It's also it's
get paid.
true to say, and you guys can argue with me if you disagree about this, but it's true to say that comedy is also, it happens in the wild. Like, it's the only art form where people will shout back at you. I mean, you're never going to do that at the ballet. No. Some chick is
I dare
doing
you
a
to do that,
pirouette.
Joseph.
I mean, can you imagine you go to a music and you're like, boo! Get off, you cuck!
Gareth, you told me something when I did that radio, when we had our show.
Yeah.
You taught me something, and I'll never tell you this because then it'll make you feel
Well, you're
cool.
about to, so just go
You-
ahead.
I was telling you a story once, and it had to do with how I felt about something. And you said, Dave, how does this affect you? Why are you telling me this story? This has no effect on you. Nothing in that story is going to affect your life. And I was like, fuck, this oak's right. And then I just stopped telling the story. And then I realized you can't change certain things.
No.
And you just got to go for it because it's not going to be forever. You're going to do another show that's great.
Yeah.
And I walked on stage at Parker's Comedy Club on a Friday night. I was in a good mood. I walked on stage and I overheard a guy turn his back and said to his girlfriend, fuck, I hate this guy. I just walked on stage and I was going, hey, everybody, how you doing? And this oak said that and it took away all my mojo.
Yeah.
Because the whole time I was thinking, shit, man, why does this guy not like me? But the 40,000 other people, well, 312, they probably like me. And I concentrate on the one guy that said, fuck, I
Yeah,
hate
but
this guy.
though you can't help it, right? I mean,
It's human nature.
So an inside track, if I may. When as a stand-up, there's almost, you've got to embrace whatever's going to happen there. And you've got to embrace it. It's like, when we played improv stuff, if somebody comes, listen, you're in a gynecologist office, you have just had a test, and off you go. You got to embrace it. You can't go, whoa, where? You got to embrace it. And it could go either way.
That face again?
the guy.
Well, what?
You got to have your feet in the stirrups like this.
It's,
Doctor, I think I'm at the wrong dentist.
2 stripes for what, hey?
Madam,
me white pants.
your teeth are looking dreadful, but your gums are great.
How can you see his gums from there? I think the word is vagina. It's not, I don't think
I
it's
saw
gums.
a funny clip yesterday of it's like an old clip from the 60s or whatever. It's been made to look old. And this woman goes, "Why is it that you men have 2 brains and you don't use either of them?" He goes, "Well, same reason you got 4 lips and you can't close them."
See, that's from the 60s, eh?
That is,
Yeah, that's old. That's old, but it was good. So, all right, Congo Chris says, okay, hang on. He's got all these people here.
Is he from the Congo?
He's from the Congo, yeah. That's where he got his name. The SA Air Force was the 2nd Air Force in the world, says Slippery Pickle, but we probably have less functioning planes than we did during World War I. That's probably true. It's only a matter of time before someone in Parliament comes for one of the comedians. Keep going, gents. Someone
Thank
in
you.
Parliament. What do you guys need?
I'll do
I
it.
heard you shouting and screaming there. Let's see what's happening.
You know what, James isn't here. It's just the show's going so well.
In fact, there was a very important part of the conversation with
I
the
think
Air
I'm the
Force.
only guy in the whole fucking place who talks to my producers while the show's going on. Sorry, guys.
No, it's-
Yeah.
So there's a certain part of it that we didn't get to say, is that we've got about 12 warehouses with like hundreds of planes that are inoperational because of service
Are they just
issues.
sitting there gathering dust?
They're just gathering dust.
don't have
They've
anyone to
never
fix
been
them.
serviced. They don't have the right equipment to get them fixed. Don't have the budget to get them fixed. So it's not just that we only have 3 planes. And it's the word force, Air Force, it suggests that the person or the people you're going to exact this power against should be fucking scared.
Yeah.
But that's not a force anymore.
Lesotho threatened us last week.
And we probably would lose.
Yeah, we've got
will,
an
and
air
those-
suggestion at
And
this
their
stage, but
donkeys,
not
their
much more.
donkeys are serviceable.
It's
An air suggestion, no
South
force.
African
no.
air suggestion.
I use it, don't use it, eh?
Maybe it's interesting because when did it start going wrong? So you go, okay, well, it's because of the new government, because of this. There's a number of other reasons. Someone's stealing money so that they
Yeah.
can't service them.
Well, also, they haven't invested in it in ages.
So I know they've cut the military budget substantially since the old regime, and they did that on purpose
And they
because
did the arms. They bought 14 donkeys from Lesotho.
no, there was the arms deal under
that not
Joe
the arms
Modise.
deal?
I mean, like, we don't have to go into a long historical explanation because mostly it's boring, but you can kind of understand the old army was regarded very poorly by the ANC because they were the victim of them so often, right? So they must have said at some point, we don't need to spend a lot of money on this. We'll spend rather on education. But they eventually ended up stealing even that which they'd earmarked for education and health and all the rest of it. The other problem is they kept on putting ministers in there who have nothing to do with we've got currently Angie. Remember Angie was in
yes,
education? Angie Mochecha is the Minister of Defense. Now, Angie couldn't defend herself
The Minister of Suggestion.
against a stray goat. She wouldn't know what to do. She couldn't like swing a.
These portfolios are meant for professionals in that particular space.
Especially
And they just hand them out.
And something like defense. I mean, if you're a country, listen, you need a defense force if you're a country, not because you are going out there to conquer lands like it's 1800, but you need to be able to defend yourself, your borders. Your country has to, in order to be sovereign and taken seriously.
Yeah.
You have to. If Zimbabwe decided tomorrow, because Zimbabwe's got a better defense force than we do, if Emerson Mnangagwa wakes up tomorrow morning and goes, I've had enough, and he decides today's the day, he could roll across our northern border and pretty much annex Limpopo, and we'd have nothing to say to it.
And
because we have no guys who
We've
can
got
wield.
G4S and ADT, I reckon. They might
Yeah,
be able to
they
offer
would
some
deal-
kind
they'd
of...
be-
They'd be a better bet than the defense force.
I think
You've
so
got
too.
a joke about ADT guarding the police station.
Yeah,
They
ADT.
are.
There's a big sign outside the Claremont police station. It's we are being observed. That's a nice euphemism, right? Observed by ADT. I'm like, my bro, am I the only taxpayer that's concerned about this shit? It's not Christian.
All right, let's see what else is going on here quickly because
And a lot of his Zimbabwean army are here already.
yeah, they are. Except they're not in the army anymore. They're driving Ubers.
See?
The old regime, it was unpatriotic to challenge the defense budget. Well, that's also true in America, right? You don't. If they say they need $500 billion for missile technology, everyone goes, sure, whatever you need. The SANDF has the discipline of a toddler. I'd like to remind everyone, says Congo Chris, this is what I'm getting to. Our Navy managed to sink one of our submarines. How the puss do you...
You sink a submarine.
He says, how the puss do you sink something that's meant to go underwater?
No, we not only sunk one, we've got another one standing on bricks that's rusting in Simonstown.
bricks.
On bricks, like an old VTEC on the backyard somewhere.
Like a Cressida.
Like an old Cressida, exactly. It's all rusted
saw
and a
that.
bit cuck.
I
And
saw an
sense.
old Cressida the other day. Do you know how I laughed? I was driving behind, but old, eh?
now listen, it's a big deal
Remember
in the...
they used to have those metallic, but it's like a light metallic blue.
Yeah,
Remember those
GLI
ones?
6.
You know, there was a
Those
dead body in the
Cressidas.
back of that boot. You know
For
that.
sure.
But the thing with it, if you got the phone call, you would laugh and say, the submarine is sinking. You're like, okay, that's
Is it-
good.
It's
No,
a good
it really
thing, right?
is. How deep?
No, I think what happens is it sunk and it just
What did
didn't
they-
come back up.
Did they leave the porthole open? What did they do?
You know, this is the problem with the submarine. It requires a certain skill set to operate it. You know, it's not
My
like...
grandfather always said, when one door closes, another one opens. He was great with advice. He was a terrible submariner.
Grant says, I love that Kurt and Dave have the same hair.
We're same age.
No, you used to have the same hair. There's a lot less of it now than they used.
Oh.
Well, listen, but then again, I've got a lick a big 5 head there as well. Check.
Yeah, but you're doing that thing where you've got it like it's poofed up a little bit. So it looks substantial.
You know how long it takes him to do his hair?
How long?
We had to get up at 4, and then all
you
I
go-
hear in the bedroom, I hear, what the fuck's he doing?
use
He's
a-
got the vacuum cleaner.
the vacuum.
That's
No,
the
to get
vacuum.
it
I
up.
suck it up.
That's clever.
Much better than
A little bit of wax. Off we go, Wiki.
And I use the vacuum cleaner for a completely different reason.
That's like we're not allowed to speak about that in
the
public.
vacuum cleaner before.
The crusty vacuum cleaner.
Oh.
Cheesy vacuum cleaner.
Cheesy.
Too much info, perhaps.
Chris says Angie couldn't tell the difference between defense and the naval.
What's nice is that we're talking quite heavy stuff about Defence Force.
I know,
and then
but
someone
we-
says, you guys have got the same hairstyle. This
So
shows
this is
deep,
what
man.
happens. There's a town in KZN which has been called Cressida where they still use them as taxis. Says Durban Dope. I don't believe you.
No, there's a lot of South Africa that
fit
still
12
use them
people
as
in.
taxis, even in Cape Town, huh? Like informal taxi business, yeah?
Remember they had those. They were before seats were made of leather. They used
also
to have
it became a
fabric
very
seats with
aspirational
patterns
vehicle.
in them.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was
yeah.
the 80s, right?
So, you know, so let's call pre-apartheid, a Cressida was a very aspirational vehicle.
Sure, once.
And it isn't a bad car.
No, it isn't.
Kirk knows about
Well, the
cars.
fact that some of them are still on the road means they can't be bad.
On
No, they're great
SABC, a
cars.
guy won one of the first lottos, a black guy, and they said, what are you going to do? And he said, I'm going to buy a Cressida. That's how aspirational it is.
You might not know this, but I've got an Insta page called Kurt Loves Cars. I'm a serious petrolhead, bro. Put it this way, I'm a slave to it. I don't have a choice.
Okay, well, we're going to put that on hold because we've got to take a quick break. We come back with Kurt and with Dave. Stick around. This is our last Wednesday show, so you have no excuse to miss a single second. Don't go away.
Robin.
All right, one of the biggest moments I think as a sports fan that I had was back in 2007. It was a really great time. It was the Rugby World Cup. Not any kind of Rugby World Cup, of course. It was the one that the Springboks won. The man who was in charge of all that, basically, the man who raised the trophy, the man that brought it all to us, was none other than John Smith. And here he is in studio with us.
But if it's any consolation, it was one of my favorite sporting moments as well.
I hope so. Great. We're on a level pegging here.
Episode 61, the big 2007 Rugby World Cup show with John Smith, dropping 14th of August.
and death threats being given to whistleblowers who had come forward. Because we also have an endemic problem of whistleblowers either landing up dead or are being exposed and people are coming after them. As a country, we shouldn't be just reshuffling people because they're not performing. We should be reshuffling people if they're abusing their power to make other people's lives a living hell. We shouldn't be having people dying, public servants dying, trying to do the right things. And I think one of the things that this reshuffle tells me is that there are a lot of people who want to tell the truth about what's going on in government, but cannot.
But not at the cost of their lives.
Not at the cost of their families.
Phela mina ngiyinsizwa mina. Ngiyinsizwa.
All right, good morning. It is Wednesday. We are live, and we've got Kurt Schoonrat and Dave Levinson in the studio with us this morning. Kurt's doing a big show at Monte Casino until
the 17th. That's next Sunday.
There we go. Yeah. So you can go and see him live. And if you are not a fan of rugby, I've got the perfect thing for you to do as an alternative, because it's only going to be you, other non-rugby lovers, and Kurt. And he can entertain you and regale you with terrific stories, as they said in the press release. Stories that last 70 minutes.
Relatable.
They don't understand that's not a... Whoever wrote that's not selling it properly.
No, listen, it was accurate. It's just not exactly a great sales pitch. And you got to sit quietly for 70 minutes.
Okay, so you say you're a big petrol head.
I'm a huge petrol head, yeah.
Okay, so when did that start? And what was the car that you were like? Because I saw a Knight Rider car the other day.
Oh, that's a Trans Am 1981.
Dude, that's it. I saw it here in Athol, in Joburg. I was driving to a thing, and I saw this car, and I thought, my God, that's the Knight Rider car.
Yeah.
Now, there can't be more than one or two of those.
There's a few of them, yeah. Actually, they're not that rare, eh?
Really?
Yeah.
I've never seen one.
They made them in huge numbers.
But I thought suddenly, and this is why I'm glad to be talking to you about this now, I thought that oak, wherever he goes, or girl, I don't know who was driving because you couldn't see. They are the they are the person who has the Knight Rider car.
There's one just before it. It was the Smokey and the Bandit car, which is exactly the same car, just the year before. It's called a Pontiac Trans Am. Now, where I come from, if you were driving a Pontiac Trans Am with a snore and a cowboy hat, bro,
you were the coolest person in the world.
Okay, maybe I'm giving away my age.
Where did it start
man.
for you?
For me, my dad was a petrolhead. My grandfather was a petrolhead. So when I started out, I used to do the pumping the brakes thing for the brake bleeding thing. Yeah. And that's big old white steering wheel in front of me and the smell of an old car. Fuck, I was in love, bro. I haven't gotten over it yet. Honestly, I haven't.
You know, I also think with those older cars, they made the seats like they were sofas. The seats were like sofas. The front, if you look at some of those, particularly those cars from the 50s and 60s, right?
Yeah.
The whole front seat is it's a sofa.
It's called a bench seat.
It's even got armrests.
Man, do you know, I drive a 57 Chevy most days in Cape Town.
That's cool.
It's old school. I love it.
That's cool.
And you know what the crumple zone of a 57 Chevy is? The Toyota Corolla in front of it. That's really the crumple
that thing's made of steel.
It's like good old-fashioned thick gauge steel.
Yeah.
It weighs about 3.5 tons. Costs a fortune to
you have
run,
to go
but
on
I
the weighbridge if you use the highway.
Exactly. You got to pull over to the truck lane.
But that is, I mean, also it's a wide car, right?
It's wide. It's got wings out back, rockets up front, dogmas.
Cool.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I can see you love it because your face gives it away. You're like more excited about that
than the show.
No, and I love that. When you find out that someone is really passionate about something and you see them just absolutely love talking about it, to me, that's gold.
Cheers,
That's
man.
gold. I love
Well,
it.
check out my page. It's called Kurt Loves Cars,
Okay.
and
This
we
is your Instagram page.
exactly. It's one of them. I've got Kurt Schoonraad and Kurt Loves Cars. So I literally review old cars. We chat about it and tell you what the shortcomings are and what makes you feel great about driving one. And yeah, I'm just in love.
So we've got a friend called Keenan. He's in Cape Town. He's in Joburg now. So I'll do this with Keenan all the time. I say, watch this, watch this, watch this. So I'll walk past a car or something on TV and go, what Mercedes-Benz is that? And then Kurt goes, oh, that's the 280 SC. It came with the double. And then me and Keenan walk out of the room. He's like a wind-up doll. And then we'll come back an hour later. And the suspension was never made in that year. But what they did was they took the leaf springs and made them into a double-edged sword.
And it's not too far from the truth. I just go,
and he just goes.
Did
and
you
we were
read
talking,
everything you could about cars when you were a kid as well?
every little bit I could consume. But here's the weirdest thing: is I would never score high at my school at my academia stuff. But I can remember shit I read about a car and who designed it 70 years ago.
I can remember the lyrics to songs, but I can't tell you anything about what I wrote in matric.
Same story. There's a support group
Here's
here.
the test. Here's the test, though, for you. Did you ever go to showrooms just to see cars?
I still do.
He stops outside Classic. There's a place where I live, sort of past Lone Hill there. What's it called?
Creative Rides.
Creative Rides. He can't not turn in.
So even if I just walk the floor and I go,
Even if there's
just
one new one that you haven't seen.
Man, even if it's the same old ones and they haven't changed a single thing, I'd scan it from a different angle.
Man.
I'd have lunch there. I would drive my old car somewhere and park it in just the right angle, or in my opinion, the right angle. I will find a place to have a cup of coffee and I will stare at it for 2 hours.
Your own car?
My own car. Now, you know the story. If you're not looking back at your car when you walk away from it, you're driving the wrong car. Huh?
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Completely.
Did you wash the thing and polish it yourself and all of that?
All of that.
Too?
I do a little bit of tinkering myself, but a lot of the time I have to call someone like, look, Chris, I think I fucked this up. Come sort this out.
I've seen him. He wears like little short denim shorts, and he sends me a video. Dave, I'm washing my car today. He's in his little Daisy Dukes.
Don't you think a lot of the cars have become... I mean, they're obviously high-tech, very safe. You've got airbags everywhere. You've got onboard computers. And I'm not talking about expensive cars now. I'm talking about...
Just the average
stuff.
car.
Yeah, now you buy stuff and everything's got electric windows and,
I think they're just soulless now.
They are a bit like people.
Well,
because people are the same, thanks to these. They're also soulless. They walk around like this the whole time and they've got nothing to say.
Every car is designed on one or two pieces of software, and it's generally CAD software and computer-aided design stuff.
They all look the same.
So if you take the badges off most cars, the average person won't be able to tell you which one's what.
I promise you, Kurt, I probably couldn't either. And I see a new car, because I read the name and I'm like, what the fuck?
Kurt can hear the sound of an exhaust and he'll tell you what car it is.
What is a Jayco? What is a what was the one that came up the other day? There's one called a Franks, a Suzuki Franks.
No, I've never checked that one.
What a cuck name.
Franks was in charge of the cake at the wedding.
Yeah.
Frank with the cake.
Franks. Hi, I'm Franks and I've made you cake.
Kurt knows that he has an exhaust pipe and he goes, that's a BMW M2.
Yeah.
And I look outside the window and it is. And he goes, and it's probably driven by a Doers.
I'm going to...
So you can only tell the exhaust pipe, but the oak that's driving it. He's a Capricorn.
Wouldn't you almost...
yes, it was. Yeah.
Wouldn't you almost prefer a second or third or fourth hand old car than a brand new, out of the box, modern, soulless car?
Well, I think it's important that most of us will have a normal, average, run-of-the-mill car because you can hold up in traffic and it's relatively safe to do and all of that. I wouldn't be able to drive one every day, all day. So I've got a Hilux Bucky that I drive most days because my light is into downhill cycling. So I've got 10 of his friends and we got to load the Bucky full of bikes. And
downhill cycling?
Yeah, bro. He's a big downhill cycler. Yeah.
So only downhill. They don't do the uphill.
No, they don't do the uphill. That's cross country.
That's what the Bucky's for, to take them up.
That's exactly.
Take them up on the back of the Bucky.
But he also drives an I-10.
So what is it?
Doesn't fit any bicycles on it.
But hang on, is the speed the thing, the point?
It's the speed and the skill it takes to get down there and go over rocks, and it's very specialized equipment.
No point in trying this in Bloemfontein.
No, it's or Holland for that matter, where they're back 2 centimeters above sea level.
I mean, I do get a lot of uphill when I go there.
Where do you have to take him?
Stellenbosch is big. Tukai is big in Cape Town. Okay. There's a couple of trails in all of those areas. There's lots of mountainous spaces in Cape Town.
And all these downhill cyclists are at the top of the hill
Yep.
And they take their chances.
I
They
must
just-
warn
Bro,
Kurt that
there's courses and
Gareth
stuff.
knows nothing about sport. He doesn't know what sport
No, I
is.
don't.
That's called berms. It's like an elevated edge like you would have on the Autobahn, for example.
Oh, I've seen them at the Olympics where they
Yeah.
have those.
Yeah,
Is
berms.
it like that?
Yeah, it's like that, but it's all downhill. There's rocks and trees and all kinds of. Well,
Jesus.
my kid had a big accident about 2 years ago. I discuss it in depth in my show, Funny Side Up.
Okay.
And
But he
he
made it.
degloved his bottom lip.
What the fuck does that mean?
It means that, oh, look, kind of this, and he tore his cheek here, and he didn't get his hands out
So he looks
fast
like a
enough.
Muppet.
He did, yeah. He did. Listen, we got out of the bucky. They took him down from the mountain. He got out of the bucky. What I meant to say was, don't worry, my boy is going to be okay. But what came out was, oh, fuck, because this whole thing was, yeah. But thank God it went back together. And
Gareth has no idea what sport is, so he's thinking, do these bicycle guys have a parcel to deliver at the bottom? Because that'll make sense to Gareth.
yeah,
That's
like-
not sport.
like
He's
a
delivering a parcel.
60-60.
That's the guy who actually won last week, and he wasn't even in the race.
he had no idea he was
Two
competing.
Checker 60 guys won the downhill race last year on one of those bikes.
All right, so Bitcoin Boot wants you to answer this. This is a big story this week.
Oh, no.
I think it's boring, but go ahead. What's Kurt's opinion on the Gaten saga? Because this is, I mean, I also think it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if that's what you think, but when you went, I thought that's probably.
Well, you know, there was two sides to that particular sword. It was the first that was the podcast where the coloured people were dragged through that racist space, and then of course Gaten McKenzie. They went back in his social media stuff and got it from like 2013 or something like that. So I mean, listen, life is messy, bro. There's nothing. I watched your show on Monday about it's not going to stop the world to hear the slur. It's horrible and shit. And I understand that. But I do think that as South Africans, we need to take the edge out of this shit. The only way we can do that is to actually embrace it instead of run away from it. That's my take on it. Now, I also believe that, you know, I've said some horrible shit in traffic about my own people. They're a bunch of fucking wankers sometimes, and they drive like shit. Especially, we call them Nikes and Spikes in Cape Town. We all see these eyeballs and spikes, and it's generally VTECs and low suspensions. And I've called them all kinds of names, but these are my own people.
With the windows up.
Of course, listen, I might end up at the robot next to this fucker, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I do think as South Africans, we need to just have a little bit of latitude when it comes to, and listen, racism is off and cuck
Can
and
I
wrong.
tell you
and
what?
everything.
If you heard, and I don't hate anybody. I promise you, I go to sleep at night. I'm the happiest oak in the world. But if you heard me in traffic sometime, you would think
No holes barred.
this oak is a prick.
Bitcoin, I want to share a story, but I'll do it quickly. My missus is German.
Okay.
We spend a lot of time in Germany. At least once a year, we visit the in-laws and stuff. And I was pushing my kid at the time. He's 15 now. He was about 3 at the time, 2, 3. And we were in Berlin. And I went into a store because I collect all kinds of old vintage shit, you know, sunglasses, Alpes, cars, whatever. So I was in this store, and this guy came up to me and says, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Oh, hello." He turns me, "You have got to pay to be inside the store." I was like, "Fuck!" I said, "I haven't bought anything yet. Usually we do this on the way out, bro."
Yeah.
And he went, "No, you need to pay to be in here." And then that fucking penny dropped for me. I was in a fucking army surplus store. This oak was bald and in camouflage. And I was like, fuck, I'm in the wrong place, bro.
But do you think it was because you were colored?
Oh, it was definitely because I was colored. And then afterwards he said,
Amazing, hey, Berlin, and how long ago?
this was 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago.
Wow, I mean,
Not
that
long
oak-
ago.
That oak's a real holdover.
No, he was a real holder of the old Reich
Yeah.
vibe, right? And then he said, "Your kind is not welcome here."
Auf der Heide blüht ein kleines
He goose marched me out of him,
Blümelein.
bro.
Bum, bum,
But
So what did you buy in the shop?
Fuck all.
What did you steal?
He bought a Hitler Youth pamphlet from 1939. What do you think he
Had
bought?
2 helmets.
It's
with the
funny
SS.
now, but it really did my head in when I was there.
So it was because you were colored.
It was because I was colored. Damn straight it was.
Do you know how hard it hits? I've been with Kurt when he's been called a name at a comedy club, and I saw him sink.
Let me
Into
ask
a
you,
terrible
though, I
depression.
mean,
It was
like
horrible to
you,
watch.
You both are, again, in the furnace of comedy where people say fucking terrible things while you're performing. You know,
No,
they
this was-
paid you to.
I saw it happen, and I was.
Okay,
it took away
so let me
all
ask
of
you,
our vibe.
because I just like the oak who said, I hate that oak, right? When people say cuck things, but do you hear a lot of overt racism these days? Because I honestly, maybe I'm just moving in circles where nobody does anymore. I don't hear those words that often.
So there's a comedian called Stuart Taylor, and he said in his show, he says racism it should go back to where it belongs, around the bride.
But I don't. Maybe
I
I'm
can
going
spot
to the wrong
racist
prize.
comments being made across the room.
Can you?
Yes, you can. What they do is they first look around and they don't like us.
yeah.
And then they drop the line. I'm like, it's Betty saying something about the colored guy in the corner of the room.
Gert won't remember this. And I think you will. Can I explain it to you? We were in Pretoria.
I remember
we had
it.
done a comedy show, and the lady said, "Come, comedians, you guys come to after party at this club." What was it called? Goodfellas.
One of those. It was in
And we
Pretoria.
went, so
Hatfield,
we
I
walked
think it
in.
was,
So
yeah.
now here's your white privilege, where you don't realize in Pretoria in the early 2000s.
I didn't expect
We
Dave
walked in,
Levinson
so-
to be the one to bring up white privilege this morning. Go ahead.
So nobody don't realize where it is until
Yeah.
it hits you. So we walk into the bar and the club, and I'm standing there, and Kurt's not there. I go outside. He's sitting on the pavement like this with his hand in his head like this, and he's just sitting there, and he would not tell us what happened. And later on, when we were driving on, he said, "Bro, that the doorman called me a hot knot."
You're joking.
And Kurt, every
But again,
single,
how long
but
ago
every
is this?
single thing came back from his memory of growing up in the Cape Flats.
No,
Everything
dude,
hit him.
I don't want to dismiss, and you say you listen to Monday's show, so I don't want to dismiss the pain that all of this
No, it
brings
hit
to
him
people.
hard, eh?
But
did.
the reality is, I think it's harder than ever. If you're looking for racism now, sure, you'll find it. But there's an over
That
demand
overt is
for
not there.
people to be upset and take things personally. And there's an undersupply. Like, I don't know anyone who's dumb enough, first of all, because you have to be very stupid to be overtly racist. Because you know the cuck's going to come.
They cancel.
Like these days, if someone catches any of you on their phone saying something absolutely appalling, racist, sexist, fucking whatever,
Yeah.
they're going to post that, and that's the end.
What I don't like
for
is
you.
the disbelief that it exists. I like
No,
someone
it
going,
it
"Can you
definitely-
believe he said this?" And
No,
like,
no,
yeah.
no. It definitely happens, and I think that the most important thing about it is that when it happens, people know that oak's fucked.
So the owner
Because-
came to you afterwards and he brought that bouncer with. He apologized to Kurt, and then we got very drunk.
No, well, then that's okay. But you're right, Kurt, because you said just now we've got to give each other a little bit of latitude here.
It is important. I think it is. Because, life's a mess, eh? There aren't, what we do is we knee-jerk react to shit like that.
Does anyone really think that Gayton McKenzie's sitting there stewing
Plotting.
stewing in like 100% racism?
I don't think so.
Like sitting there thinking, these blacks.
And you know what the
these
thing is? He's
whites.
outspoken, and we like it when he's outspoken about the Grand Prix and getting
Sure.
live golf here,
Sure.
and about his jail term.
Yeah.
But when he's outspoken about something where he just turns it, when you turn and you say that thing and you realize, and you turn back, now you've just said a thing that he says anyway.
Man, I get it, and you pointed out perfectly. They understand the pain, and there is pain attached to it. But what in life doesn't have pain attached to it?
Well, sure. I mean, I say that again, and not to be flippant about it, because we do have a very interesting and unique and complicated history in this country. But when I say I understand the pain, it's like I understand the pain of a woman giving birth. I've never felt it myself,
Understand.
but I can understand. I mean, like that must have been tough.
Does that bouncer
You
change
know?
his ways after being told, "Hey, man"?
Of course,
Does
that
he?
he was probably more embarrassed than Kurt was embarrassed when he said.
So
called
he
him
says
a
it in
whatnot,
passing,
right? Yeah.
and Kurt overhears it.
But afterwards, it turns into his story now.
The damage is done.
And both people come out of it worse,
Yep.
right? Because he's made you feel cuck, for starters, and then he feels like a total tool afterwards. Because now his boss is called, "You come here, you apologize." I mean, that's
But
gotta
in
be
that
humiliating.
story, I think is the solution to this issue here, is that we all give a little bit of latitude, both victim and perpetrator, and we switch that around. Because, as a colored man, this is not the first racism exercise
I'm
or
sure.
experience I've had. I remember not being able to get on a train with my football team and my under-10 team. That was years ago. I remember that because we were a colored team. We were not allowed on that carriage. We had to go to the other carriage and wait for the next train to come.
But what do you make of black people who say, well, coloreds have had it easy? Because that happens. You
Man,
hear from,
I think coloureds have had it the hardest out of the whole bunch. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of debate about that. I'm sure they're going to be in
No,
the
go for
comments.
it.
I think that coloured people found themselves on a bit of a political seesaw.
Yeah.
We were
too-
always in
you
the
were
middle.
too brown then, and now you're too fucking white now.
Exactly. So we are sitting in the middle of a seesaw situation. Do you know how many jobs I've lost out on because I'm not BEE enough? You ask him.
And you also missed the interview because you weren't allowed on the train.
But Liv, this is what Funny Side Up is all about, is don't lose your sense of humour. There's a humour to be had in all the cuck.
I also think we should be allowed to be funny and rude about each other, right? I
A
mean,
little
That's
bit,
where
yeah.
roasting comes from.
I think so.
But have you been to those roasts? Some of them are shitty. Like I met a guy.
The ones
out of
we do
nowhere.
here.
No, ones we do here are shitty.
Yeah.
But I met a guy, and he thought he knew me, so he started roasting me, and I had to take him aside and say, John, we're not friends from school. I wasn't in the army with you. I wasn't in the hostel with you. My friends who love me roast me.
Yeah.
You must see at our
Yes.
house at Kurt's staying
It's
at my
a-
place
it's-
now. It's roasting central.
So you've earned the right to roast somebody that you have had in your life for a long time. And I think the Comedy Central in America really gets it right because, I mean, there are one or two guys that
Well,
are
it
put
used
in there.
to start with, what was the club called
it
in
Friars
New
Club?
York? Friars Club.
But that was with love, hey?
And
was.
and by the way, if you got roasted, you were at the top of your game.
And look
I
at the
mean,
mix. Look at the mix of the panel. There was no color bar. It was everybody.
And it
oh,
was your
sure.
closest friends. And then at the
Yeah.
end of it, they have a hug out. And you high five on the way out.
Yeah.
You
But you
can't,
also
Steve
purge.
Hoffman and John Flismus, that was a fantastic hug out. Did you guys see that?
Did they hug each other?
No, they didn't hug each other. They didn't smoke each other at all.
I think in South Africa we just don't have. I've always believed we don't even have celebrities. To be perfectly frank, we don't.
If you've got a show that requires celebrities, it's going to be a very short run, one season deal.
Well, okay.
You're gonna end up doing politicians.
I've been doing just since the podcast started. Like it's 11 years of what started off as 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. I think I've interviewed like now it's done.
In this
There's
country,
no
we
one
have,
left to interview.
Politicians are celebrities in this country, and that's a problem.
It's a big and sports stars, and then people who are in the media, which is a very rough
then
category.
actors
I mean,
and maybe.
actors in
Yo,
South Africa, acting. That's a difficult business in this country.
That is indeed.
I
Actors.
went to a movie premiere last night, and it was so lucky to see their community based. They're looking after each other because they're in the,
The
shit.
actors?
Yeah, they're making movies.
What are they? Do they
Many
all
movies.
run a soup kitchen for each other?
All run soup kitchens. They were making shoes. It was lovely to see.
Listen, I wanted to ask you about this. So last night, I get into bed early for some reason.
And
I
then took a
think
shit.
it had to do with waking up early here. And I downloaded a movie called Troll. Okay, and it was in Norwegian.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You seen it?
Yeah, I
Okay,
did,
so
yeah.
I didn't know this was going to be in Norwegian. And it's about this fucking troll that
Yeah.
comes up out of the ground and like storms down into Oslo and like breaks shit. But a troll.
Is it 70 minutes of uninterrupted humor?
It's actually not a bad movie, but all in Norwegian. I don't speak any Norwegian.
They're all subtitles. So you want to
No subtitles.
Oh,
Like,
was it-
I
oh.
didn't have a subtitles thing. So in the first 5 minutes, I decided either I'm going to put up with this and try to piece it together without understanding any Norwegian at all, or I'm going to give up right now.
Did you not give up?
No, I watched the whole thing.
Does the troll take a shit at any point in the movie?
in public.
Because
But
that
it
would
might
go
have
into your
something to do with
subconscious.
it, right?
So I bought the girl with the tattoo. What's that? Lars,
Dragon tattoo,
Stieg
yeah.
Larsson. The girl with the dragon tattoo. On to drive from Cape Town to Joburg. And I bought the wrong disc
Oh,
because it's
no.
a, what do you call it, audiobook? I bought the original one.
Norwegian.
The Norwegian one. So I get in the car and I think, well, maybe it's going to flip into English. But now I'm already out of Joburg. And I'm like, well, I'm in Norwegian now.
Committed to it
And
already.
it's
Yeah.
amazing the way a story goes. You can hear, well, something bad's happening now.
Yeah.
This guy is a bad
Well,
guy.
this is
It's
it. I mean,
toned
look,
and-
But they're talking different.
but in a movie, they do a lot of the work. Fliegen Hugel. So in the movie,
But you would think I would stop listening.
no. So they tell you a lot of the story is visual. So especially with a fucking troll. I mean, it's a big troll that like storms across the countryside. So you know what's going on. It's not as if they're hiding the ball. But even when I was just listening to the dialogue, I could pick out a word or two. There's a lot of English that comes from.
What was the theme of the movie? Was there
Norse.
racism in it? Were they against the troll or for him?
No, obviously they were against the troll. Wanted to it ate a person. It actually dropped a soldier into its mouth and ate him. So I think the troll was the
But
bad
Exclusive
guy.
Books wouldn't take my CD back.
Oh, really?
Because obviously I was speaking Norwegian by the time I went to Norway.
I ska
You like
flyga
the
till
English,
English,
the
the
English
flyger
CD.
die.
The CD is broken. They wouldn't accept it back because it had been torn open. But I said, how was I going to know that it's in Norwegian before I listened to it?
So that's the kind of thing. Now, there's another subject. There are moments in the service in South Africa
Oh, my God.
where I lose my shit, and I try not to be that troll. See what I did?
Don't talk about your car
I
rental,
don't-
please.
I'm going to talk about my car rental now. Fuck it, I have to.
Go for it.
So I booked my car rental from Cape Town. I get here only to find out that somehow my driver's license has disappeared. I got no fucking idea where it is. It's just gone. And I registered a car a few weeks ago, so I might have left it on the counter or something. Listen, it's my mistake. Long story short, though. So now I've paid for this car for 18 days while I'm here. But I can't pick up the car because they can't give it to me. So now I'm trying to get a refund for the bucks I've paid. My bro, they passed me around like a bank at a roadblock. I just went from one operator to another
And
to
no
some
one
call
wants to help
center.
you.
No one wants to help me. Nobody.
And you know, Kurt's quite a thrifty guy, you know.
And yeah, it's quite a thrifty idea. And so I really wanted to get my refund in like, as thrifty as I possibly
without
could.
saying the car manufacturer. I mean, you look after your finances.
So have they helped you or not?
Not at all. Not at all. Oh, no, so you've got to call head office. Then you've got to call the call center.
And then
You've
you do, and you get through to someone who also can't solve it.
Man, it's just one big faux pas after another. All I want is the bucks back, bro.
No, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this is your experience at Johannesburg.
But it gives
There's
me
enough
five-
cuck to deal with.
You know what?
to
Every
not
time
have
something
cuck from
happens,
the
Gareth,
car rental.
I don't know how it works for you. How do you deal with like proper shit, like someone dies or money? Every comedian does it where they go, "There's 5 minutes of comedy here." I remember when my kid was born, and a lot of the comedians, when they have a kid, they do a show about their kid
How's
as
your
if it's
kid now?
relevant.
How old is your
He's
son?
16.
16.
He's got a black belt in karate. Come and fuck all of you.
Yeah, he's
But,
proper as well.
Yeah,
I
16.
mean, it's amazing with a dad like Dave.
No, I did it. I did
He
it.
needs the black
That he
belt.
even got to 16.
You need something to hold his pants up as well, you know.
Because I
so-
remember you brought him to the
used to
studio
come
a
to the
couple
studio.
of times, and I thought this poor fucking child, because he was listening to your show, and your show was PG, I don't know, 23. At
Something
that
about
point.
he became an adult very quickly.
Oh.
But the thing is, other people were talking about their kids in their shows, and for reals, I said, "Why is my kid not doing anything cool?" And I just said to him, like, "You're useless. I can't write any comedy about you."
Prod him with a stick, do something.
And then one day he got jokes and he got lineups and he did it properly. And he was in the car and he said, "Dad, how come when Mom drives me to school, there's no cunts on the road?"
That's fantastic.
This boy's got it.
That's my boy.
I see. Obviously, takes a different route to school.
So limited edition wants you to know, don't feel bad. I'm black and BE overlooked me as well.
Oh,
See, it happens.
he missed the train.
Vyasan says, I don't speak Tamil, but as kids, we watched 3-hour Indian movies. You finally get the gist of the movie. Yeah, but I mean, listen, a lot of those, particularly the Bollywood movies that I have seen, and I've only seen like 2 or 3 in my life, but they all have the same
It's the
story
same, yeah.
arc, right?
Well, they steal stories from classics. So
Yeah.
if you spot a Bollywood, you go, "That's Hamlet. That's
Right.
so-and-so."
Right.
The last night's movie had a subtitle. So this Russian actor, which is a South African guy, and the other guy, and they're making fun of the Russians. So he misses a shot. And the guy goes, checkity doos. And at the bottom it goes, "Look at this idiot." And you're clapping, you're like, "That's not what it."
That's not. You call that an idiot? Yeah.
Like a doos is one level up from an idiot.
Yeah. No, and
No, that's at least
how
2
do you
levels,
explain
so.
if you translate it directly a box, that's not going to do the job.
No,
No.
it's more the other part of it, buddy.
No.
Well, then it's puss, isn't it?
I
So
don't
how do you,
know.
okay,
How's
arrange
the show
following.
going for you,
Let's
Gareth?
do trappe vergelijken, right?
May for
So-
Kansi.
You said no cunts on the road. I think cunts
up
are
there.
way worse, right?
That's up there, yeah.
Then you get puss, then you
Yeah.
get dus.
But they're all based on a vagina.
I'm tempted to
Which
go,
is
and then
a
you get
terrible-
politician, but they might be listening to the cuck I'm listening
Politicians
to.
in there somewhere.
But do you agree with the grading?
Yeah.
Like,
You know, in America, the
dus
C
is
word
a,
is the
dus
worst
is a
word.
5 out of 10.
But in Australia, it's your friend from school.
So
Ah,
there's-
you can't.
Yeah.
No, and they say, "Hey, you cunt." And if they don't like you, they say, "You're a bad cunt."
Yeah.
Jeep.
And they love you, "You're a good cunt."
The guy came to me after a show, American guy, he goes, "Man, you stupid as hell." And I looked at him, it was Griff. So I'm thinking, I tried my best. He goes, "No, you dumb, you goddamn fool." And I'm looking at it, and he's like, And the guy said, Dave, he's complimenting you.
You stupid as hell.
Stupid. And I felt, okay, I feel good now. Never been called stupid.
All right, but do you, because you mentioned Australians and Americans, but how do you rate those terms? I mean, I use the C word in a limited sense.
I try not
With the
to,
window up
Is there
in
any-
traffic.
with respect to in
Is there
terms of
anything
the,
worse than that?
I think the worst thing is telling someone straight up, like properly stuff. Like if I said to you, and I don't know you, and I go, Gareth, you're an asshole. Like that's bad for me, because then you've skipped all of the words and you've gone
Done a
straight to the
character
place.
assessment, and you've decided I'm just an asshole.
Yeah.
So
And
now-
especially just an.
So I tackle this in my show as well, but there's like colored people from Cape Town. We can swear in a way
Oh,
that'll make you feel really cocky.
oh yeah.
And we will bring your family, your community, some pickled
Yes.
animals, and a couple
Yes.
of other things into
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
But I promise you, you will feel cuck at the end of that. So yeah, there are levels to that, and that's like gold class, like boost grade.
So
in
the thing
Cape
with
Town.
roasting was they said, let's roast, but let's not bring moms into this. And it was kind of the rule. And then I
Because
said,
you bring your mother into.
and then I said to the
mean-
guy, I said, well, maybe not your mom.
Have you heard this? Like talk about his mother.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
He knows my mom.
Nikki, I know Nikki for as long as I know Dave.
I mean, he makes her sound like she's the worst person that ever lived, but she isn't. She clearly
No,
isn't.
not at all.
No, she knows Kurt well.
Yeah, we go back a long time. Yeah.
So he told him the stories are true.
I can't say that. That's not true.
Shocking. The things you've said.
We were looked after by
terrible.
my mom's best friend, mom. So it was the granny.
Oh.
But we like 7 and 8. But there's 5 or 6 of us. And with Dave, Shanna, Shetty, Wade, Delane, all of us.
Yeah.
Bad ADD kids. And when the parents came home drunk and they'd look at the granny like, how were the kids? And the granny's sitting there like this, Millie was her name. And she sat in the corner like this, she goes, how'd you make me look after this bunch of cunts?
See? That's a
So that's the
brilliant.
first time I heard it. And I'm like, hey, we weren't just one of us. We were a bunch.
That's great.
Never thought of yourself as a collective noun before, but there you go.
So when you get in
Bunch
the
of
quiz,
cunts.
what is it? It's a parliament of owls.
A bunch of cunts. Yeah.
A
No, it is
school of
bunch.
fish and a bunch of cunts.
Yeah, it is. No, it
No, we
really
were
is.
not well behaved. Eh?
Veronica says, I crossed the road at a stop sign and a guy cut me off, stopped his car. As his door reached me and he said, Askies. I laughed thinking if I didn't understand Afrikaans, I'd have think he told me to kiss his ass.
Askies.
Askies.
Askies
So it
is-
just
yeah.
means sorry.
Askies is a thing.
South Africans say sorry a lot.
Homotso says you can call me anything, but don't tell me to go to hell.
Oh,
You see, that's also...
Yeah, that's now we
People
take
have
that kind
different
of thing
trigger
for
words.
granted, you know, where it's go to hell seems like such a small little
go to
thing.
hell.
Yeah. But that could, for some oaks, that's like the curse of the
the worst
highest
you
order.
can say a word that a friend of mine doesn't like the word whore. She goes into a shiver, and I've stopped. I wouldn't use the word.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. You go on stage, and he said something about climbing over a wall. That's just not Christian. So we speak about it as like it's not a Christian thing to do. Yet a person in the audience who is Christian going, did you just say the word Christian? So you trigger them.
Yeah.
Now you wonder why they're not laughing at the rest of your show.
Right.
Because you said whore or go to hell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or you
You don't
said
know.
Christian.
No, I can tell you for a fact that there are probably people who once listened to me and then they heard one thing I said and then
No, you got
they're
you
like,
in. You
no, now
basically
you're finished.
Yeah.
I
You're just
don't
in the
listen
shit
to
all
you.
the time. It's
So
like
that-
a
He's
level.
just an asshole.
So that cancel culture is like I'd like to bring this up. So like I said earlier, my missus is German. Now Germans have a different. Now they're not known for their sense of humor,
No.
but ironically enough, they have a great sense of humor. But you just have to understand it. But the point I was trying to make about this particular exercise is they don't play the person; they play a situation. So if you piss them off, they'll go, you know, Gareth, I think you are an asshole and you are arschloch, you are doing shit wrong and you are not a fucking nice guy. But then we'll have a dope later on because they play that situation. And once it's played and they've shared their
move on.
opinion, they move on, it's done.
Not
Let's move
personal.
on. It's not personal. South Africans, we play the person on every single level.
I don't know. I do think we are, to your earlier point about the whole Gaten thing, I do think we're quite forgiving here.
We are.
I think South Africans, like, if they can tell. Sorry, I'm just having a
Bless you.
stroke.
Go to Clicks, get
If
some
they
sign
can,
tab.
if they can tell
In a cage.
that you mean to do better, and this is why, I mean, my advice to Gaten would have been just ignore it because it'll go away. The people who are genuinely upset, and I don't think there are that many people who'd be genuinely upset because I think they read the situation and they go, other people are drumming this up to be a big deal.
Man, there's one thing that really pisses me off, that's someone demanding an apology from me.
Please don't
that
do
is
You must never
absolute
apologize,
bullshit. Well, if I want to apologize and I feel like I've done something wrong, then by all means I will apologize. I don't have a problem with the apologizing, but demanding it from me means that it's going to be completely insincere. It'll be shit. I don't actually want to do it, and I don't think it means anything then. But we've got from a culture of demanding apologies, and then once we get it, we feel like we've accomplished something.
Those people who are demanding those apologies will never give you absolution afterwards. They'll never say to you, okay, now that you've apologized, let's have a drink.
They see it as a win.
They see it as a win.
Yeah, and then they'll keep beating you with it. I got him to apologize.
I had a situation the other day where I got into an email, like... onesie with somebody where they went, you're charging us and you didn't answer your email on time. And it's like, I was opening a show, things are a little different. Give me a couple of days to catch my breath and do the thing. And then my agent issued an apology, like, hey, listen, my sincere and humble apologies. It was not meant to do that at all. And then they went, your apologies accepted, but your tardiness fucked up this, it fucked up that, it fucked up this. That's not accepting an apology. What that is, it's pointing out the fuck up again. And I mean, I was just...
They can't some people cannot let stuff go.
Yep.
They've got that's their whole reason for being, is they have to have an issue, have to have foribbles.
That's it.
Foribbles.
Foribble.
So they build their life around their problems they have with people. Put that thing up again from... Who's this from?
But then the apology is not accepted.
No, but listen, actually... Kurt's right. You say, I'm sorry because you want to say I'm sorry.
And you want to move on.
After that, whatever they do with it.
Can I tell you Kurt's first reply? So he reads the email. He says, read this email. So I read it. And I'm like, this is a teacher red marking.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it turns out the person was that A-type. It's the personality of like, I'd like to show you where you went wrong. So you can improve yourself.
Make your corrections in green pen.
And you can improve yourself.
The comments.
So Carl says, it's my daughter's 9th birthday today. It's also our Lady Wednesday together. So I'm playing this nice.
Now we're in trouble.
I'm playing this in the car.
She's supposed to be talking about the word. She's going to hear it.
It's her 9th birthday.
Don't you dare. Carl DeSantos, I don't believe that for a second.
Carl, and daughter of Carl, it is country. Country is short for country.
It's country, country music.
Okay, you guys can cover it up for me then. I was going
to
say, I know Carl from the comment section. There's no way that she's just heard that.
But also,
word
when are you going to hear it? And when are you going to be surprised? So my son's mom is very conservative. She doesn't like that swearing. So I said, he's got to hear it. He's got to understand where it comes from.
Yeah.
And that's George Carlin's thing. It's like, please take the power away from the word. Stop adding so much power.
And we've come full circle because that was my point about the whole Gaten controversy, is if people are going to make the K word, which in South Africa obviously carries enormous electricity, right?
Yep.
But if we're going to give this word this kind of power, then we must expect it to do huge damage. And I don't think it's that powerful. And I think the people who do use it are like a relic of the past. It's like that old German oak who wouldn't let you in the shop. It is a rare and weird and fucked up thing.
The only way
there
it
are
can
still
be,
people who behave like that.
The only way it can be weaponized, it's hidden like a gun from 1925 in the top of a cupboard somewhere.
And
that's
That's why I don't like the idea of people at Bry's throwing it around. Because to me, that indicates there's still a disease.
Yes.
But we're now pushing it underground. So as long as we don't hear it in public, everything's fine.
And you do that look around before you say it.
That's nonsense. So we take away the power. Make it. I mean, these people, who's annoyed enough or hurt enough on the internet when they see Gaten in a tweet? I mean, come on, get over yourself. You're not. I just don't believe you. I don't believe you're hurt. I believe you're trying to perform for attention. That's what you're doing. It's the same as the oak who makes the comedy show about him when he's in the audience. He's not meant to be making it about him, but he turns it into a thing about him and you, and then you have to focus a whole lot of your attention on this one moron who's spoiling it for everyone else.
Can we fix this somehow? Can we sing happy birthday or something?
To
Carlos's daughter.
When will you hear the word and be shocked? Rather hear it on the real network and go, okay, it's in context. I never said the word in a way I want to explain it.
Don't even worry about
Then
it.
he's got to listen to George Carlin.
We've already moved on.
What are George Carlin's 7 words you can't say?
Fuck shit, cunt, piss, cocksucker, motherfucker.
Look at him.
tits.
Look at him go.
Wow, I'm impressed, bro. You've heard that piece
So
many
we had
times.
to, we had to learn. I learned. I was a
On
nerd.
the radio.
For radio, you weren't allowed to say those things. And I mean, if you take the amount of swearing we've done, today's probably been the most swearing heavy of all of our shows for a long time. Yeah.
It is the last show
And
on
it's
the
all
Wednesday.
Dave. I had nothing to do with
It's
it.
been a swear.
It's been a very heavy swearing show
Sorry,
this
man.
morning.
We don't apologize.
It's been a very
So
blue.
I did a show.
very blue show.
I did
You know?
a golf day for Jos van der Westhuizen before he died. We raised some money. And I
Did he
spoke to
know?
him. He knew he was, and if you listen carefully, he was very complimentous. He could chat. And
It took a long time.
Because I'm a comedian, you'll find that people do change their way when they're next to you. And we chatted. We got quite heavy at the table. If you just listen carefully, he spoke slowly, but he had a great sense of humor. And I asked him. I said, "Why didn't you, when that thing happened with? Remember, You Magazine was all
With the
over
hooker
him."
and the underpants.
And I said, "Why didn't you just say, like the first thing when it comes out, you go, yeah, that was me,' and you take all the power away from them."
Yep.
So think about what we just
Yep.
said. If they had said, "How's I'm phoning from You Magazine? Were you with in the underpants with the hooker with the cocaine or whatever?" Yeah, that was me. What's his next question? So you know what he said to me? He said, "I was not in control of the situation." I said, "Yeah, it was me," and knew that I'd get problems from my current wife and my daughters and son or whatever. And he said the PR guys take over. And he's sitting there going,
Try and manage it, yeah.
And at that stage, he was still, he didn't have the disease.
But it
yet,
was,
so
I mean, it was a thing
the
of the
PR guys take over on your behalf.
That's right. And that's how people used to handle those things.
Yeah.
These days, I would go with what you just said.
So it's
Say,
this
yeah,
is
this is me.
So you
What are you going to say? Yeah, are you interested in the underpants?
Yeah, they're auctioned. You
I'll
can
put them
auction
on
them.
eBay, yeah.
So this is the problem with being a celebrity in a public space. We spoke about it off air with Will Smith and how
Yes.
that whole thing's
my God.
coming apart. The thing about being a celebrity is that there are risks involved that you don't understand when you get involved with this whole celebrity thing. When this has become your goal for your life, so you want to be a big Hollywood star, and you become one. The problem is that you become an easy shot. Your head's your head and shoulders above everyone else. It just means you're just a hell of a lot
The
easier to
same
shoot
that
at.
built him up or breaking him down. Or
Well,
he's doing a job of
No,
his
I
own.
think Will Smith's doing this to himself. And yes, people do love to pull somebody down because it makes them feel they're not so insignificant, right? So it's, the bigger your target, if you're the guy who gets to say something cuck about someone who's really important, then you feel like somehow you've connected with them. You get a bit
On
of
that level.
shine on you. It's nonsense. I mean, nobody. There's no way you derive any long-term power out of being a dickhead on social media.
Have you had people
But-
tell you that? They go, but you're famous. Surely that you can get out of a parking ticket or something. That's their perception of what fame is in this country.
Yeah, but I mean, listen. Also, once you've had it, you realize it's kind of a bit of work. It's not privilege. It's actually duty in some ways. And I don't mean that. Listen, the last thing I want to do is sit here and complain about people recognizing me because
Recognizing you.
it has more advantages than disadvantages, but it takes up time. If you, and you guys know this too, if someone recognizes you and they're like, shit,
Yeah, there's
Kurt.
Matthew Perry.
Hey, Matthew Perry. It's good to see you alive since friends. Hey, Kurt, I saw your show once and now they want to talk to you. So now you were on your way to the shop to go and buy a fucking bread and suddenly you find yourself in a 15-minute conversation with someone. And
privilege.
maybe you even enjoy it, right? But it's 15 minutes that you wouldn't have had to spend if you were just Kurt nobody knew, right?
In Cape Town, if you go shopping anywhere around where Kurt lives, so Observatory, Mowbray, that area,
They all know him.
it takes you 2 hours to go and do any of that
Correct.
stuff. And they
So-
want to talk to him, eh?
So this fame thing is just it's a non-starter in South Africa because you're never so famous that you need bodyguards and you must wear sunglasses at night. That doesn't happen.
There was the one situation that I want to share with you. I was running the comedy club at the time, and I was hiring sound and lighting equipment, and I needed to purchase it because we were moving forward.
Right.
And the guy that I was renting from, I bought from, and then he sent me an invoice for June for the purchase, which I bought, and then he sent me a rental for June as well. So I said, here's a problem, guy. I can't rent something I've already bought. So eventually, long story short, he had taken this very seriously. I told him I'm not going to pay it. And then he's got a journalist friend, and bro, I had a story in the newspaper with me standing next to one of my muscle cars. I mean, comedian will not pay bills.
Oh, for God's sake.
So now that's assassination in no uncertain terms, then, because there was no
But
comment.
isn't it
on
amazing that you can strong arm a journalist because they're your friend into writing bullshit about somebody?
And
Yeah.
he said this exactly. He said, "Yeah,
Fake
but you're
news.
famous, you can afford
Fake
it."
news.
So what it is, but it's
And the oak told you you're famous, you can afford to pay.
we attempted to assassinate me, and thank God my attitude towards it was, fuck, did he spell my name right? I'm like, okay, lekker, off you go, bro.
Yeah, I think everything has its pluses and its minuses.
Yeah.
It is part of what we do that people are going to recognize you, and it can bring you tremendous joy. And 9 out of 10 people you meet will be terrific.
It's exactly
There's
9
gonna
out
be
of 10 times.
One will be a puss.
Stop using swear words.
But you can have fun with that.
birthday time.
Right? You can have fun with that. All right, so quickly.
So I'm not
let's-
getting hired for that birthday then.
Can't we all be dickheads online in peace, says El Grande Amigo.
Leave me alone. I love my
Does
comedy.
Will Smith really deserve this? Hasn't he been embarrassed enough wearing dresses and acting roles? Says Slippery Pickle. No, but the reason we bring up Will Smith is because I saw a clip yesterday of him. Have you got that clip?
Does he speak about money not
Did you
being
manage to find it?
money is not important?
Huh? Bring it on. Okay, take a look at this. You'll see why we're talking about this at all, why it's important. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Sit down, Dave. Your head's cut off. They cut off your head there.
Dave's trying to get jiggy with it.
So Will Smith's 56. First of all, I mean, listen, Madonna's 170 and she's still on stage, so I don't think it should prevent you from doing this. But he's not good at doing that and also getting jiggy with it is so 90s,
It is.
right? That would be like him dressing with the sideways cap like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and talking about like, who was the cousin who...
Carlton.
Carlton.
So the interview before this, where he said,
Why are you sitting like that?
Because you told me to sit down. I'm a director of a show. I'm a famous director. I'm a famous director now.
Now
Give me
you're
my
lying
cigar.
down.
I'd like a cigar. He spoke about nostalgia being cool again, and that's why I did that show.
Will.
So the interview before that was
Okay, well,
how people are loving nostalgia.
Nostalgia's cool.
Yeah.
But the thing that's not the clip I saw that I had a problem with. The clip I saw was him doing something about being back again. I'm bouncing back. And it was just sad because Will doesn't need to do this.
Yeah.
I would love, like, don't make us watch you deteriorate. You know?
Better sit up straight now.
No. Here's the thing, and you guys know this from entertainment. I don't want to see the greats that I grew up and loved. And I was a big Will Smith fan in the 90s with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was like the coolest guy on TV, right?
Yep.
And he had music, and then he was a movie star, and he did these amazing movies. I mean, he was a big fucking star. He was in top 5 for 10, 20 years.
Yeah, bank
Who
it.
knows? And then the Chris Rock thing happens at the Oscars where he punches Chris, get my wife's name out of your mouth. But the wife is like sleeping with her son's best friend.
Yes.
And the whole thing's just deteriorated. Like, I don't want to know.
In public.
You almost wish it would be like a Amy Winehouse, Janis Joplin, dead at 27, go out with a bang and everyone will remember you as a hero. Because it's sad to see this guy unraveling like this. He's a cuck. Clearly his wife has no respect for him. His kids have no respect for him. He's got the 2 kids, what's it, Jaden and Willow.
Yeah.
Both of them are disaster zones, right? His career clearly, I mean, being a movie star is not what it once was, but people like Tom Cruise managed to keep it up. So what the hell? Just quietly go and enjoy your money, dude. Don't do this.
So
Why are you doing this?
here's another take on it, right? So we mentioned earlier about relevance
Yeah.
and feeling like you're taking up that space or holding the space that you've taken
If
up.
you don't feel relevant, just don't be.
retire,
Get out of,
maybe.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
out of there.
So as a comedian that's been doing this for 25 years, this show was about me trying to find my voice again and find relevance in the space I'm taking
Wow, we're
in.
finding deeper meanings in an analysis of Will Smith.
We came up with this
But I
idea in
like
the pool.
I can relate to it a little
Go on.
bit because, so we've got a whole new tier of entertainment over the last 10 years or so, and that's the social media, TikTokers and Instagram space. So now we've got guys that are, man, they just take up a different kind of space. I'm not saying it's better or worse, it's just a
Sure.
different kind of space.
Right.
And for a lot of the time, it feels like I am playing in a different space than I used to play in the comedy business. We see this in the corporate space. We see particularly because eyeballs is the new currency. And if I've got 25, 40,000 followers, it's more likely than a corporate would book somebody with a bigger eyeball space than mine is, for example. Even though I'd like to believe I take my art form and very seriously, and there's a certain skill set that comes along with it. I'm best to take on something like
Well,
that.
it swings and roundabouts. So let me ask you both, because you would have seen comedians who are great on TikTok. They can pump out 20, 30-second TikToks,
Yeah.
right? And they're hilarious on TikTok. Put them on a stage for more than 5 minutes, what happens to them?
Let me tell you this story. So someone calls and goes, listen, we've got this guy. He's a huge star. Can he do a headline set at the comedy club? So I go, I tell you what, we'll give him a guest slot. Not an open mic slot,
Right.
a guest slot to see where he lands.
And
in
to protect him.
Of course, but they don't see it like that. They go, no, he wants a headline slot. I said, I give you a guest slot before the headliner. So we go, okay, let's give him 5 minutes. He goes, no, 5 minutes is way too little. So I listen, you survive the 5 minutes, we can talk again. Bro, what happens when you're trying stand up and it's not working? What you want to do is get one laugh so you can get the fuck off stage.
Yeah.
And the longer you're there, the less it's going to happen. The less chance it's going to happen. Eventually, I had to turn the music back up, the intro music, and go and fetch him off stage after 10 minutes.
God.
He was dying on his ass.
But he didn't even know. He
No,
had so little awareness.
He knew exactly what was going on.
Oh.
He was dying and he knew it. So the
why
comedy
did
club.
he stay?
He just wanted one laugh so he could get off.
Oh, God.
Eventually, we had to fetch him. He walked down the spiral staircase from the green room area, walked out of the door. We never saw him since.
So that means that stand-up comedy still has a craftness to it.
Definitely.
So if I'm scrolling and his stuff is funny, but I scroll past and then I go to the next thing and then the next thing, no one in that audience could scroll past him.
No. There was
he
no
was
scrolling
there.
there.
That's right.
And you only get one swing at stand-up.
right.
It's live. There is no, let's do it again with a little more love. Can we cut that piece out? No, it's fucking there.
So Mel Miller says stand-up comedy is a live rehearsal.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
straight up.
right. And this is also why you can't get too attached to the idea that, to go back to fame and relevance, because I think that's something that probably everybody has imposter syndrome at work. You could be in a bank and you've been working in the bank for, let's say, 5 years. You know everybody. You know how business goes. You know what you have to do. You've worked out what your minimum effort level needs to be and what you're really capable of if the pressure's on. And most people still feel, even with that level of 5 years of experience, knowing the people, knowing the business, they still feel like imposters. We all do, right?
Yep.
So when it comes to fame and relevance, there isn't really an answer because I don't think anyone's cracked that code.
No.
I don't think there's anyone in the world who is so completely convinced that they've got everything. Because the moment you get to that stage, you're a fool. Because
But
someone's
that's-
going to come and pull the carpet out from under you anyway.
Potentially, that's what Will Smith is experiencing right now, is that he wants to be relevant again. He wants to be back. He wants to be able to take that throne that he thought and he believed he had for the longest time. And I empathize with that. I really do.
Oh.
But it is a bit sad.
Sad, eh?
It is very sad because the truth is there's a window period for you to do what you need to do.
No.
And at some stage, we're all going to be 75. And no matter what you do, no one's going to get jiggy with it,
No one's
bro.
going to want to fuck you.
What does your dad say about the movies? No one's going to want to fuck you.
No one.
Hey, what did your dad say about the movies?
Which one?
Your dad's famous saying, the good guys and the...
Yeah, he said, my dad famously said, the thing about this life thing is that the good guy and the bad guy dies every single time. So get over your shit,
Well, what do
dude.
they say also? You either die young or you live long enough to become the villain.
That's great. I like that.
Yeah, which is also scary. And, you know, it goes back to Will Smith and so many other people who've just, they burn out. Yeah. And that's another great line is like, I think it was Mr. T all those years ago. I got something to say.
He had good.
Better burn out than to fade away.
Fool.
I got some ageism the
Sucker
other day.
fool.
You got
Ageism at a
ageism?
gig, and the chick there said, "Listen, there's a lot of young comics here, so maybe you should go on first."
Ah!
As an older
I thought you'd
comedian.
fall asleep or piss
So I
yourself.
went on
It's
first, and I didn't realize that I'd done this for 25 years. So knock the audience out, do some comedy, and then I sat back and watched the new guys just
Flounder.
char.
And this is the thing about a ninja comedian. No matter how old you are, I mean, George Carlin, case in point, you go out there and you blaze it up. The young guys are like, oh, fuck, I don't want to follow that.
Now I'm in trouble.
Now I'm in shit, yeah. And this happens a lot with older comedians.
So listen, before you go, because we're almost out of time here, but running a comedy club is also a specialized business, eh?
Oh, man.
Do they make the money out of the drinks?
Yes.
Okay, because you
No, at
want
the door.
them. No. The reason I'm asking is because as a comedian, you want your audience to be a little bit drunk, but not very drunk. But the comedy club wants them to be very drunk.
No. So we ran a dinner theater. It's a little different. We had dinner. The show only started at 8:30. People got there at 6. So you got them nice and buzzy.
All right.
And some people didn't drink at all. But I think the mood is important. You know, the lighting's very important.
Muslims, they don't drink. They don't.
No, true story.
And do they laugh?
He did have a bouncer called Bruno who picked some people up who were having way too much fun in the comedy club.
Well, Bruno is this Congolese cat that's like 7 foot.
Yeah.
Nicest guy in the world.
Always.
Soft
Always.
guy. And he would always tell me, hey, boss, hey, when you go fetch a guy, you got a big list. Like Bruno. So, boss, don't do it. I said, stop calling
And a
me.
French accent,
Stop
right?
calling me boss. But he goes, okay, boss.
But he would
But
pick
he's a
people up,
lovely, lovely
So
Because
what
people
man.
happened
get
with
too
these-
clever and too loud. He picked them up by the shoulders and carries them out. And they're still choking while they're leaving.
We had a secret code. I would just nod at him and like, and then he
Isn't it wild that there are people who just think they're much bigger than they are?
Well, alcohol induces that kind of confidence.
I mean, like some little oak who thinks now he's going to have a say in a comedy. Everyone else is there not to see him.
There's no inhibitions after a few dops.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, imagine being a girl and that's the kind of oak you're on a date with.
It's amazing how
Imagine being a chick and
alcohol
you have to put up with that.
changes certain personalities completely. I mean, I'm talking about soft, mellow oaks.
Yeah.
4 dopes, they turn into like proper assholes.
They do.
No filter, no brakes, no
The
nix.
guy was quite tough, and then you actually heard him crying as he left the door. Eh?
Man, there were moments with, with
Crying.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lekker.
Judas says that Will Smith is a perfect example of how not to have an open public relationship. It has broken him down as a man and as a father, and now he's looking for validation by other means, and it's sad to watch.
And
Wow.
on that note,
She's spot on.
see you on Friday.
That
Spot on. Congo Chris says again, he's very into the conversation with you. Kurt, you should check out the comedy nights at Ground Culture in Obbs Main Road. Lots
That's his
of new
job.
talent.
I'm playing there in September.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So now you know.
2 nights. Go
Two-
book tickets there,
Two of you can
Congo
have this
guy.
conversation
during the
in
rugby.
person.
No, it's not.
Is it also during the rugby?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
We'll make sure there's a rugby match scheduled at
You
the
know
same
what? Kurt
time.
is so famous. He phoned Russie and said, "Can you change the rugby?" And Russie said, "Yeah, cool."
No, because he said, I don't want any rugby
Bullshit.
fans of my show.
Exactly.
They ruin it. Okay, good morning. Blessings and peace be with you, says RJ.
Thank
Isn't that nice?
Cheers,
It's always
man.
nice to end on a high.
That's
like
fabulous,
That. Yeah, that's
that.
great.
Thanks, RJ.
No way comedy clubs can stay afloat without selling drugs out of the back system.
Yes. Most of the comedians take them all. They never sell. Eh?
Okay, Matthew Perry, give us a thought for the day.
Stay in your jacuzzi, stay cool out there, and don't let your dealer ever get your home number.
Oh, that's great advice.
Oh, we got a round of applause from the producers. That's
My
never
stomach was
happened
in as
before.
well the whole time.
Listen, thanks, guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again in studio. Good luck with the show next week.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Dave,
I got nothing. I'm
Huh?
a director now.
you're director Dave. Just lie down on the.
And cut.
Too comfortable. All right, and that's it. We'll see you on Friday, 6 a.m. Ciao, everybody. Bye.
Goodbye.
Get ready with me for a funeral. I got ghosted last week. The guy became a ghost. I'm sad, but we only had one date. Me and the girls are gonna go to his funeral. We're gonna make a night out of it. He would want us to celebrate. Cheers to Arthur. You never know who's gonna be there. He loved to play cards. Do you like my earrings? Let me pick out an outfit. This is my closet. I don't know what to pick. I think it's gotta be black. There's one. Black velvet. This is my outfit. I'm ready for his funeral and for a night out. I hope I don't look too pretty. I love yous.